Dang it! I'm done. I can't try. I can't do it. Just can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed now. I'm embarrassed. I couldn't get the tongue to roll properly. Wait, that's the wrong chord. I literally I plugged into the wrong thing. Thank you for the gifted sub, the Pocket Kitten. Congratulations to the Void Star, Fudgy, Chris, Mac Polar, and Troxo. Thanks for the gifted subs, man. I really appreciate it. Just for the intro, that's an old intro, mate. I've had some ideas for replacing it, but maybe we just leave it then. Thanks for the gifted sub, mate. I really appreciate it. So we have one coaching session, then we'll do some Ask Spilo. We'll see where we go from there. I have an interview tonight, and I have some other stuff that I might need to get into. Chat, I got 190 submissions in my feedback form, almost 200 submissions. And I'm begging you, if you guys haven't filled it out already, do fill that one out. !feedback. There will be a drawing for 2 free coaching sessions, so you have approximately a 1% chance of winning it. So, hey, it can't hurt, right? But yeah, obviously, even if you don't get the coaching session, I really would appreciate any feedback that you guys have, just to try and make the stream, the YouTube, and all that foolishness just a wee bit better when and where I can. I mean, a lot of the ideas, as I've said, that I've implemented, things that you guys probably like, have been straight from you guys. So, hey, Levi. So yeah, let's get started. We have one coaching session, like I said, and then we're gonna go and see what we do from there. I don't have a whole lot more to add. If you guys have any juicy things that you want to talk about at the end, just holler and we'll do it. So okay, let's do this. This might be Orisa gameplay. I'm excited. This might be Orisa. I'm excited, guys. Is this Orisa gameplay?
Unfortunately, yes. I mean, not all of it. I've kind of gone into Ramattra or Winston now that Hogged isn't absolutely.
I'm excited. Bullied. I like Orisa. I want to coach Orisa. I haven't coached Orisa on the stream yet, so you're gonna be the first. I think Orisa is really boring in the mirror, but I do find her fun, like playing against other tanks. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. The displacement's really good. Like being able to interrupt res, especially with how important Risk is right now. I think it's a really powerful move.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look at this. So which code do you want to start with? I'll just get it pulled up. We don't have to start with the code, but which one do you want to start with when we do get there?
Let's go with the loss first.
The loss first. Okay. Okay. Don't you know that we only VOD review losses? I remember hearing that rule and I was like, that makes no sense. Like, wouldn't you just...
No. I think if it's a close game, if it's like I had a
26-minute
game. Okay. Yeah. No, but like it's good definitely to know, I've seen enough of your videos where it's losses are really where it shines your mistakes.
Sure.
So.
I just think close games in general are like what we want to aim for. So this looks like a lot of Sigma.
Wait. Oh, this was I played a lot of Sigma too.
Okay.
Yeah, this was a good game.
Let's
I kind of lost composure second point, so I played a lot of Winston because I think they ran a Widow or just second point Oriisa is like a lot of high ground and kind of contesting it. And I lost composure towards the end. I jumped. There's one part where I know you're gonna flame me for it. I jumped on a McCree a cast with a Mercy Pocket and I didn't have any cooldowns, and it was like a complete gold mistake. I was like, oh my god, beat myself up over it. It happens.
That's okay. It happens. And like you said, Sigma is pretty hard there, so I understand the swap. Okay, let's take a look at your form here. So what got you interested in coaching? Let's start off with that.
So I've seen a lot of your videos. So I work 40 hours a week, and I had a lot of downtime. I promoted to a new position. Was waiting to get a certification from in security, so nice. I got that, and now I have a lot less downtime, but I still watch your videos during lunch. I've really, made it to the upper echelon in Overwatch. I feel like, in Overwatch 1, I was a big plat diamond player. Only peaked to masters once and got so scared to even queue on it during double shield. I was like, and then I remember I queued into it once and I was like, oh my god, I accidentally queued into this. I don't want to play on, masters. I think I flex queued and I got tank, so I was kind of spooked. But I think I peaked 35, 50 and then never really touched it. But now I'm a lot of my friends are now masters and it's fun. I don't really stack on my account anymore, but maybe the occasional duo, but on other accounts on alts, I usually, hop in masters games and just have a fun time. And
cool.
I'm still trying to learn, but the thing is, as you jump from masters and then you go to GM and then low GM is pretty difficult. And then you get to the games where you get top 500s and then it's just oh my god, it's a complete different level. Every micro mistake gets punished and you really, I don't beat myself up over it. I realize I try and find out why I died and what stupid decision I made. But sometimes I feel in those games, it's just the Widow diff, it's just getting smoked by Widow. And that's when I have to go Winston and I need to really work on my Winston. So I played a little bit of Winston. So maybe you can tune it up a lot because
Yeah.
it needs a lot of work. It's definitely not
Yeah.
GM level.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. I mean, I think one of the tougher things, like especially as a tank player, where a lot of your impact is kind of like indirect, for lack of a better term, unless you're actually, is like the kill feed lies to you. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's the problem with like the stat system, even in Overwatch 2, and that's the problem with the kill feed is it's like you said, Sojourn diff, Widow diff, whatever. It feels like a lot of things, like a lot of games can be decided by that. But that's the problem with that is like it's only like the surface area. It's like the surface representation of like what was happening before that. So the problem is that there's still a lot of impact that you can have as a tank, if not more than the Sojourner or Widowmaker. But you don't always know if you're doing the right things because you're not showing up in the kill feed with the headshot. You kind of see what I'm saying? That's the problem with tank is it's like you don't always know, you don't always get that positive reinforcement for doing the right thing by getting that juicy kill or even the dopamine rush. Sometimes what you do is like the really boring stuff that doesn't even feel that good. So it's like it's rough, right? It's rough. You have to kind of like have an objective viewpoint or have an idea of what you should be doing because the kill feed ain't gonna tell you if you're doing it correctly all the time. Like even the stats. So I was joking with chat a couple days ago when I was playing Orisa in rank, bro. My stats were like next level, but I was on like a 5-game loss streak. You know what I'm saying? So it's like something's wrong besides the stats. So okay.
What is your account, by the way? Is it because I have ran into a Spilo and I think it was on Parisio as well. I don't know if that was you because it was a really good tank. He said it was like diamond. I was like, no way, this dude knows what he's doing. So
I mean, it might have been me. If I was playing Orisa, it was probably me. But
right.
I honestly don't know. There's a few copycats, but I don't really honestly know. Okay, so you talked about playing in like Masters and you've been around for a while. What kind of clicked for you to get the GM? Was it just you like the new game? What do you think of Overwatch 2? Like what finally snapped, I guess, and put you in GM 3?
I'm GM 4 right now.
Okay.
But I think it was just really focusing up, kind of fine tuning my play. Like before I would just kind of play and like, not really watch coaching content or like,
Mm-hmm.
just things to get better to really like sure I watch like the occasional like Coach Mills video of like
Right.
these 5 heroes, to get better at. But
Right.
I kind of realized like one of my friends actually showed me you and I started watching you a lot and then I realized that there's a lot more to the game that I can improve on.
Right.
A lot of it's mental, a lot of it's you know, cooldown usage and especially on like Orisa where cooldown rotation is very important
Yep.
and
Yep.
just like the concepts of space, a lot of A10 videos that came out
Yep.
during the launch of Overwatch and it really made me start to think I played a lot of DPS because I have some friends who play tank in a server I'm in and he's a really good tank player. I get a lot of good advice from him. He's like top 200 right now. He plays a lot of Ram and Hog before he got nerfed, but um yeah, no, I just kind of want like I was a tank in Overwatch 1 and I really wanted to get back into it. And I got to like Masters 4 DPS last season and now I've just been like, you know what, I'm gonna play a lot of tank. Like
Okay.
it's time to and to say like what made you really push. I honestly have no idea. I think it's I don't know, just like the motivation of like continuously ranking up and then being like, oh, Masters 3 now. Like I've never been this high before, like ever in
Yeah.
Overwatch and
Yeah.
try to continue and kind of trickle in.
I got somebody in my chat who says, "Shout out Vins." It's Vins
That's
Asian.
him. That's him. Yeah. Shout out Vince. Yeah.
All
The
right,
goat ram. Yeah.
there you go. There you go. Okay. So, have you enjoyed your stay in the tank role? You've ranked,
Yes,
but have you enjoyed your stay?
I like it a lot. It's very difficult, I feel like at times because on everyone's popping in. I put it in the server that I play a lot in, so
Yeah.
everyone's hopping in now. But
Uh,
yeah, no, I like it a lot. It's very stressful. I feel like I don't smoke cigarettes, but like I feel like sometimes after like a 27-minute game of like, double overtime, like I need a cigarette after that. Like that it is very stressful, but it's
yo.
definitely like it's I don't know, it's just it's very competitive too at the higher level too. It's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
and I love that too. I love playing pickup basketball during the summer when, able to run on the courts, but right now it's the winter and I need to get that competitive outlet somewhere.
Yeah,
So
I got you. Okay, cool. Sounds good. What are your short-term, long-term goals in Overwatch? GM 3 or top 500 before the end of the season? Wow, that's the short-term goal. So let's look at your training situation right now. Oh, duh. See, I've adjusted this new Calendly thing, and there's only 10 questions, so I don't have all the questions on here. So I got to ask you right now.
okay.
What's your training schedule like right now? Average day, average week.
Training. So when I usually hop on, it's a few games in the alts. I just got it to Masters 2. And like the games are like really easy. I think I'm 5-1 on this current card. Like I'm probably gonna
Mm-hmm.
get GM on it soon if I play well on it.
Mm-hmm. And then what?
And I just play on that for a bit, and then I go to the Vaxta. I think I actually learned it from one of your videos.
Yep.
It's the Vaxta code
Yep.
where just kind of practice spears,
Yep.
practice rocks.
Yep.
Um and then after that, I'll hop on an alt for like maybe a game or two, and
Okay.
then see how I'm playing, see if I'm playing well. But honestly, like just like since I'm not really a DPS like an Asher or a Sojourn, I'm not really practicing aim.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just kind of am practicing like making call outs. Unfortunately, I don't have any clips of me making call outs
That's
in
fine.
I didn't clip them on metal, but
That's fine.
y-
We could
um
talk about that in game, like what were you calling, or like what theoretically should you be calling. I actually
yeah.
released a segment on it literally yesterday on YouTube, which you would
No, I
check
saw it. I saw it during
Yeah,
lunch. Yeah,
yeah. So we could talk about like what those low hanging fruit are with each hero. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So when it comes to what I would recommend, one little bit of a concern that I have is you're like, oh, I go on my alt and I play a couple games of my alt. Well, okay. So what happens when that alt becomes GM?
Then I got another account to practice on, I guess. That I don't
Right.
really care about, I guess. I mean, I care about it, but it's
Right,
like,
right. Okay. I mean, that's the thing is like, be really careful about like how much you're caring about this account, because what you're doing is like, if your goal is GM3 or top 500, quote unquote, wasting games where you're not playing to your full potential because you're just starting up on your main account really isn't the end of the world.
yeah,
If you really feel like I am ice cold on my first game, like I literally play night and day between my first game and second game, okay, I get it. But unless that's the case, I would just do some 5-10 minutes of Vaxta and then just go right into it. I would just go
go
right
right in.
into it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that alt account if you wanted to pick up a brand new tank and you're like, I'm really, really bad at this tank. You know what I'm saying? But I want to practice it. Maybe that's what it's for. But outside of that, I don't know. Don't puppy guard your main. You know what I'm saying? Like when Aspen hit 4.7, she lost like I don't think it was like 300 games. You know what I'm saying? If you're playing for the long run, you just really don't care about goofing up and losing everything in the short term because you're just not playing for that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like there's another issue though with this too, is like last weekend, for example, I think I fell down to like Masters 3, almost Masters 4 on my main.
Yeah.
And I probably played like, I'm not even gonna lie, through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This was, Monday I got promoted at my job, so I was like,
Yep.
all right, this is it. This is the final push. I'm just gonna dump time into it. I probably spent about like 14 hours of those 3 days, like just playing Overwatch on my main, and I wanted to get the reps in. It was pretty toxic, I feel like, and I also want to talk to you about that. Just kind of like playing for the sake of playing, if you have time. Like,
Oh
I know
man.
the season's kind of finishing up, and my roommate actually, he hit top 500 in Overwatch 1 on Reaper, and he just kind of told me like sometimes it's best to get the reps in, but at that point, like, it's kind of toxic. I feel like playing that many games, like it can be really bad for your.
I mean, you learned your lesson, didn't you?
Yeah, learning. I mean, I finished Masters 1 that day, and then I dude with my friend, and we were able to get to GM before I double ranked up. So
Okay. But just like slamming your head against the wall is
yeah, I wasn't like raging though. I feel like if that makes sense. Like,
it doesn't matter. I mean, that's better. That's like avoiding the worst case scenario. But like if you're not training like any sort of like intensity, like or that dips off as you're getting more tired, and you're just like kind of like auto queuing, then it's not really that worth it. Now, this is where, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know where Overwatch falls in the spectrum. Sprint coaches, like track coaches, you have to be really, really smart about how many reps you do with your running, okay, and your lifts as well. Because if you start pushing things too hard, it's not only is it like not a lot of gain out of the runs, but you actually start hurting your athletes. Like it's slow, it makes them slower. And then there's also things like certain drills that are a little bit lighter on the body where you're not going quite as hard, where you can get in more reps. I don't know where Overwatch falls in that spectrum, but I do know that after like 4 or 5 hours, for 99% of people, that there just isn't any reason to play ranked outside of that, unless it's just for fun. Do you know what I'm saying?
Great point. Yeah,
So-
I think it's just the sunken cost though. I feel like I run into, which is just like, oh, I'm down. Like, I wish it was the old ranking system. If it was that,
I know.
But now I'm like,
I know.
I know it's hard, but you're like, you're 5 wins into your card, and you're just like, oh, like, what am I now? Like,
Right.
I'm 5-5. Like, let me see, So
Right.
that's where I feel like I fall, and I
Right.
just gotta jump over that. Like, so
Yeah.
Hopefully they fix it in season 3.
Yeah, I agree, but you need to be really careful about that. I think I'm not
Agreed.
saying like stop playing, just know what you're playing for at that point. You're not playing for the rank, you're playing for fun. I mean, maybe that's when you get into your alt, right? Maybe that's when you get into your alt and you just like AFK, just like chill, you know. But like when you're in, and you need to know where that limit is for you. It's like, is it like 4 hours, or like after that you know that you're just not putting in the time? I don't really know. Okay, so hours of sleep. Sleep is a little bit on the lower end. I mean, especially when you're at the top end, mechanics, decision making, split second reaction speed, that's all sleep stuff. So just be really careful about that one. I mean, I know you're not like, you're like 67 isn't that bad, and yeah, but isn't that bad compared to the woefully under-rested American population? So just keep that one in mind. What do you hope to get out of the session? Some good advice and knowing when to push. What do you mean by that?
Honestly, that's very ambiguous. I should have probably, I was typing this during the lunch
that's
break.
okay. That's why we have it in a call afterwards.
Pretty much just like, I know that you have a really good resume when it comes to coaching, and I just kind of wanted just general, like not general advice, but like really nitpicky advice on, cooldown usage. Like for example, second point, like with Winston, there was a position that I was in, and you'll see later in the game, where I knew I was holding the high ground and I knew I was threatening. And if I let I think my Kiriko heal me for like 3 more seconds, it would have been a much better fight, and we probably would have won the game. Just stuff like that. I feel like, as I actually talked to my roommate like during lunch, just kind of said like, oh, I'm going to get coached today. And he was talking to me about it. And he was saying that, like as a GM player, like I can already kind of see those mistakes, but I really want you to help me nitpick them and really figure out like what could be improved, like what other options I have, like just kind of seeing from another view, I guess, on how I can improve. And just I think sometimes I've talked to my friend Vince about this before, the GM tank, the top 200. He said that tank's a lot about like sometimes you just gotta let their tank run into your back line and you run into their back line, and just both be aggressive, and then you have to get something done, more done than the other tank. And I think sometimes, I'm coming from an Overwatch 2 off tank player. I played a lot of Sigma, played a lot of Zarya, and sometimes like my instinctual thing on tank is I gotta peel, okay, I gotta peel real quick, and especially on Diva as well. Like I tried picking up Diva, I just peel way too much. I'm not being aggressive, even though she has a crazy amount of armor. That's where I feel like I'm kind of running into errors, is just peeling too much for my back line. Because if the tank peels, the whole team falls apart. That gives the DPS an entry. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's something I really need to work on.
Okay, we'll take a look at it. I mean, it's super nuanced because a lot of it depends on like who you're peeling back on. Like if you're peeling back to punish a Winston, maybe it's okay. To eat a pulse bomb, maybe it's okay. But it's like playing to the strengths of your hero. Like a Reinhardt should almost never be peeling back because he's just not very good at peeling back, right? So he needs to find what his hero is actually good at here. Okay, so let's look. Speaking of which, like looking at your hero pool here, so you got a rainbow hero pool right here, and obviously like as an Overwatch 2 tank thing, you have to try and learn a lot of different heroes depending on the meta or what's strong and what's not. But have you heard me talk about dynamic hero pools before?
I feel like you've mentioned it, but like just having, I know the word dynamic means just like multiple, like kind of changing constantly. And that's kind of how I feel about Orisa. Like I did not play any Orisa before, season 1 came out. I was like, oh, her kit's cool, I guess. She's not that good. Then she got that crazy buff to her poke damage, the meters and her left click. And I was like, wow, okay, she's in, hog counter. Hog is super oppressive with Kiriko. So I said, I'll pick up Orisa, like she can displace people. So that's why I kind of picked up Orisa, and it's definitely like kind of a boring hero into the mirror, but I honestly enjoy her. I think she's gonna get nerfed soon, so that's why I'm kind of realizing like, oh my god, I gotta pick up Ramatra, I gotta pick up Winston, I gotta pick up all these new heroes. I gotta get better at Sigma.
So here's what I would do. Okay, so I'm trying to think of a good analogy here. Okay, so do you know how like you go on like if you're like, let's say you're like a high school kid, right? You're all in on the trends, right? You're obsessing with the trends. You're obsessing with the trends. You're obsessing with the trends. You want to be perfect on the trends. And so you're constantly changing your hairstyle like every other month, or you're changing like, this or that, right? You want to avoid that. However, you also don't want to be the 65-year-old boomer that still thinks New Balance shoes are cool. So you need to find a balance between finding the type of clothing that's relatively trendy, that works well with the current style, but also find the things the clothes that you actually like to wear, that you enjoy, the things look good in you, and don't be permanently chasing the trend. That's what I call flavor. So for you, if I were to ask you, what are your favorite / what are your best tanks? What are they?
I'd probably say Sigma and Zarya, and now honestly Orisa has kind of jumped in there.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question. Can you build a hero pool with those 3 heroes and ranked right now?
No, because there's no dive. I need to get better at Winston. I feel
right. So then, what's the first tank that you drop to pick up Winston?
As of right now, I'd probably say Zarya.
Okay, so you have a Sigma, Winston, Orisa hero pool. Is that reasonable for right now?
I'd say so, yeah.
I say so too. Yeah, I say so too. I think that's fine. Is it going to be optimal every single time? No, but it's good enough. And that's where we draw the line. Do you see that? That's where we draw the line, where we don't want you chasing trends either further than that, because not only will you struggle to keep up with the trends 24/7, but also you're gonna, if you're permanently chasing the trend instead of just wearing the clothes that you want to wear and playing the things that you want to play, then you're not gonna have a good time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not encouraging you to be a Zarya OTP, but also at the same time, play to your strengths, right? Play what you enjoy. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, that's what we want to be aiming for. And then the dynamic side of that is the Winston, because I need to learn a dive tank, or I need to be playing more Orisa because Roadhog is really, really, really popular, right? That's the making sure that you're not a 65-year-old boomer in the tank queue, right? Let's change a little bit based off of what's needed. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Last question here, unless you got something else you want to go over here. What do you feel is holding you back from improving? Positioning, knowing when to aggress as a tank and when to peel. We talked a little bit about all that already. Is there anything else you want to elaborate on there?
I think mental a lot too. I think like even some people can agree that I play a lot with, like, when I die, like even in the middle of a team fight, I'll just be like, not in team chat, but I'll say in Discord, like, oh man, like I aggressed too hard right there. Like oh, I should have peeled for you guys.
Yep.
Like, I think, especially when I'm, down 2 at the moment, like down 2 losses or something. I feel like I kind of get my mental in the way. I'm not like, punching my desk or punching the wall or anything like that, but I'm just like, damn, like I could have played that better.
Yeah.
And I know like the whole, I've been trying to ride the GG go next when it goes to that, like, it is what it is, next fight. Oh, we have 4 ults. Okay, this is good for us. I've been kind of trying to ride that, but sometimes I just feel like I beat myself up too much. And just kind of the person I am, but I just need to kind of, and that's going to take time. I feel like I think I try not to be really cocky. I try and be pretty humble when I play. So I don't want to think like, oh, I'm the best player ever. Like, I know I make mistakes. Like, I'm not top 10 tank. Like, I'm still like not that good compared to the rest of the tank players in the game. So still a lot to learn.
You got a humble overachiever mindset, and there's nothing wrong with that mindset. I mean, everyone's got their own battles. Like, I've got people come in here that got the biggest ego in the world, and they've got their own battles to kind of fight, right? For you, what it might be with your whole humble overachiever is like when you have a tendency to kind of like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I need to make sure that, like, it's good that you are realizing that I could be playing better, right? That's a really healthy mindset. However, what you really have to be careful about is putting too much thought into what's already happened, as opposed to thinking about what you need to be doing better next fight, or what you need to be thinking about next fight, right? You sit in the past too long, right?
Agreed.
Right? And then in addition to that, when you make a lot of mistakes, instead of an ego guy's like, oh, my teammates suck, this is stupid, I'm the greatest of all time, I'm not making it, and there's not a lot of demotivation there, right? But for you, if you make a lot of mistakes, you get frustrated at yourself and you stop having fun, because you feel like, oh, I'm just doing a horrible job, like, what's the even point? You know what I'm saying? And you lose a lot of confidence, and so you stop playing with a lot of confidence. I mean, it all comes back to, if we were AI, okay, the way to improve is to just simply not care whatsoever about the result, and just to improve at specific aspects. That's what a robot would do. We're not robots. So you have to find a way to get as close to that, like that behavior as you possibly can around your weaknesses. I'm a lot like you. I'm very driven, which is a good thing, right? And I'm very improvement focused, but I do have a tendency to get frustrated when I make mistakes that I shouldn't make, and then dwell on them longer at the point to where it's a distraction of what I need to be doing moving forward. And you need to be aware that that's probably an issue for you, and mitigate that appropriately.
I agree. Yeah, because I feel like when I'm confident, when I'm playing confidently, I'm playing significantly better. Like when I'm dwelling too much in the past, I'm just like, oh man, like I should have won that fight. I should have won that fight. Like, I can't think like that. It's all about what's happening now. Like, you can watch the replay. It is what it is. It happened. But look at the good things. Look at the silver lining. Like, okay, they used 3 ults. We used 1 ult. Like, next recap is going to be easier for us. So
exactly. A player like you, when you're playing confident, is going to play perfectly, or as close to perfectly as you possibly can play. A player with an ego, when they're playing focused is going to play the best that they could ever play. Because a player with ego lacks focus sometimes, or lacks attention to the right thing, and a player like you probably lacks confidence. You guys could learn from each other. Do you kind of see what I'm saying? So for you, it's going to be about like really playing with as much confidence as you possibly can, and keeping yourself focused on what you need to be improving on. And that's hopefully what we can figure out in this VOD review. Do you have any other questions?
No.
Okay.
Honestly, I mean, we can jump into it. So am I watching the VOD review on your stream, or okay, there we go. Share screen, awesome.
Yes,
Because I was gonna say the delay is gonna be a little confusing.
Yeah, now to be honest, we have had to do that sometimes because the bitrate in Discord could be problematic. But if it is, sure. It is what it is. Okay, let's So we're looking at Sigma. What is Sigma good at?
He's good at poke. I'd say he's really good at just like kind of right here. I'm like waiting for the team fight. I just want to get some chip damage in, build my ult before the other Sigma does. I like playing him on this high ground to start, and then I usually rotate back a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they end up taking the high ground. But yeah, I'm just kind of poking right now with my team.
Sounds good.
Seeing what their comp is. I think, did somebody drop? Oh no, we get a pick. No, somebody gets picked. But the Mercy might res. So I'm calling res, and I block out the.
When we're talking about calls, you're a communicator. I almost forgot. What should you be calling? What should you be calling as Sigma, not as a communicator, but as Sigma alone?
By shields, I guess. If somebody's going for a res, my rocks.
Avoid the details. You're not calling your rocks. No way you're calling your rocks. Okay.
No, I'm not calling my. Yeah, I mean like. What do you mean by that? What do you mean? What do you communicate as Sigma?
So like, if I were to say I'm coaching a Sigma player to communicate in a team. Not shot calling, not planning, not just Sigma. Is there anything really relevant that you need to be calling a Sigma?
Yeah, since we're playing poke, I guess if somebody's low, if I chip somebody down low and like let's say Ash gets a headshot on somebody, then I'll be like, oh, this person's low, and maybe a little bit of
target focus. Okay.
Target focus. Yep.
Right. You don't really need to call your shield unless you're going for reses. You don't call your shifts unless you maybe I have shift. I guess maybe that's super niche, right? You probably don't call your rocks. You just take the opportunities. What about your ults?
Yeah, I don't know why I said rocks.
It's okay.
Usually I call like if it's a 4-man flex, I'll be like, oh, big flex, or oh, it's a juice.
No, wait a second. Why are you? That's too late. So let me go back again. When should you be calling your flex?
Before I have it. I mean, when I'm going to use it too.
Right. Exactly. So make sure that the follow-up's there. Okay, so your flex, and then maybe your positioning, like where you want to hold, right? That's pretty much it.
If I'm rotating back high ground, I'll be like, oh, I'm going high ground.
That's pretty much it. I don't think there's a whole lot more to call with Sigma. Now, if you want to try and do a little bit of ult tracking, do a little bit of planning, that's good. But what I would prefer you to do is to call those two things, only those two things, maybe make some plans between fights, and then besides that, focus on your mechanics.
Okay.
It's about finding the important things, calling the important things, and then giving space for you to actually just play the game properly.
Okay.
Nice shift. Out. I don't think you can hold this here.
Yeah, I think I dropped shortly after. I do get really low though, I think.
Well, you just don't have any cover, right? And you're down your defensive cooldowns. Now you're obviously thinking, oh, they're down theirs as well, but I don't think that your team had good angles here.
Yeah, I agreed.
Yeah.
They'd use a lot right there to get me out too.
Good target priority here. Good target priority. Nice. Doesn't work, but the intention is good there. Good. Questionable. Might work. It does. Nicely done. Clutch. So you clutch it out. Didn't think it was possible, but you proved me wrong. You're cracked. What was done well? What was not done well?
So yeah, I think honestly, what would you hold right there? I was in a pretty sticky spot. Like I could have held left side.
You're stuck.
I was stuck. Yeah, I could have gone left side, but then my right here. Oh, up there. Yeah. Oh, before the fight even started, I held that for way too long. I agree. We had to burn Suzu. We had to burn a lot to get me out. Had to put everyone in a bad spot, and that way, them healing me up gave them the high ground. And like the Hanzo was kind of rotating around, and I think we get him. I'm pretty sure we get him. I poke him out to a low HP though. And then they're able just to walk on me basically to the left side. But
Sure.
how should I play that differently? Like obviously not hold that high ground for so long. There was a Sigma shield blocking me. I didn't even realize.
I just think
Like
your
I've
team
seen
had disengaged. That was it. You just need to be aware of that and disengage along with them. That's all.
Okay.
I don't think
Okay.
you made any crucial mistakes besides that, to be honest. I think you
All
could always talk about some of the micro that could have played a little better. I think there's a rock and a Sigma shield, but that's micro, little details, which for the most part I think you played relatively well. So, and then like here, for example, you're doing the opposite. Why are you here? Why have you maintained this position here? Your Ashe is up. Match her.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Right. It's not even about the shield. It's about control this Ashe. You know what I'm saying? Control the Sigma better. Like, I know that you have people in spawn, but they're going to be back soon. They've got people in spawn too. Match her. This makes no sense. Like, she should have died there. Your Ashe should have died there.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm a 500 HP. Cool. She's only 200 with the Mercy, yeah.
Okay. And now you're just kind of standing in the open. Like, I appreciate the Hanzo pressure, but you gotta be really careful.
Agreed, yeah.
This Hanzo needs to die.
I'm missing him. Oh.
Yeah, that's gonna be the fight. Wait, what? You're joking me.
No, it's depressing because this game was one of those games I think that's good to talk about mental because like my team was cracked on defense. Are we on defense? Yeah, we were cracked on defense, and then it all kind of fell apart on attack. I feel like,
okay.
Like we kind of almost got full held, and then we got held on second point when I played Winston.
Should probably be bouncing that. I think the projectiles are going a little too far. Let me watch. Yeah, they're going too far. So this should have been a bounce right here.
Okay.
You know what I'm referring to, right? Off the floor.
Yeah, like off the wall or off. Okay, off the floor.
Off the floor, yeah, because it's gonna shorten the distance, right? Pythagorean theorem.
Hold that door.
This is fine. I think this is just one of the difficulties about this map where like holding this high ground is really good, but obviously there's not a lot of cover. So I just need you to be very attentive to if you feel like you're getting pressured out so that you could pre-drop and cross as quickly as you can.
Yeah, agreed. And then hold that bottom rim right to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nice, you done?
Gets beat out, yeah.
It's okay. And you got beat out at a really bad distance for them as well, so where they can't continue to push with it. You see that? So it's fine. I think the only problem here, and you can see this is one of the things that you have to be very careful about with Sigma, is everything looks juicy here. You know what I'm saying? You got a good beat, you're surviving in the Lucio, but obviously, if you were to put your obviously hit the rock there for crying out loud, but also...
Yeah, I know, it's close.
But also, like... The one thing that you need to be attentive to is just like you can't really deal with it now, but the one problem is that these guys are just free. You know what I'm saying? This Ana's free, this Ashe is free, and actually the Hanzo is free as well. And that may or may not be a problem. Obviously, that's just what your hero is really, really good at, is dealing with those threats. So you just need to be really careful. A little bit faster at recalling shield as well. That one hung up way too long.
That was failing, yeah. And now I have no shield right here.
Okay, so we lose second. Unfortunate, or lose first, excuse me. Nice. Choke.
Gotta finish that.
Yeah.
Missed one of them, yeah.
Now here's a question for you. What do you do?
Hold the high ground. This is always, I feel like Perizio is a really difficult map. I think you made a video on it, right? You made one on Midtown. I didn't watch that one yet, but second point I feel like is very odd because there's so much high ground and there's you know, there's the only low ground really is the point for the most part. So I just feel like controlling it is definitely the best option. But what would you do here? Would you push them out to even to contest it? Like I'm trying to play into my strengths where I have a Symmetra,
right,
who can kind of like, you know, if they even push us, then, you know, beams everywhere, you know. So I didn't really have anything to break it.
So the key for you, I'm gonna interrupt you. The key for you is to just simply know where they are. If this Sigma is here and starts to aggressively push, yes, you should probably match him. But in the meantime, is there anything else to shoot? Can I reach Ashe? No. Can I reach Ana? No. Can I reach Kiriko? No. Wait, this Hanzo's here. I could definitely pressure this out. Do you see what I'm saying? Because this is what's going to happen. You're going to turn, you're going to push the Sigma. The Hanzo's going to wall climb up behind you and shoot you in the back. Power ISO is all about holding the positions and then just not losing track of where the enemy team is, because it's such a confusing maze-like map. It's really easy to get flanked, and you can't let that happen. You have to keep in mind where they're at. And there it is, right? So like you have to know that this guy is here. You have to know this guy's here. That there isn't like any big brain strategy here. You just can't be surprised by like anything, if that makes sense. And then now where's Hanzo? Oh, he's there? Crap. But who else is also there? Do you know?
Sig's now there. He rotated back.
Right. So now we need to get out. Okay. Not a whole lot that we could have done there, but just something good to keep in mind.
Your mind, yeah. For sure.
Nice. Probably, okay, so target priority, right? Hanzo's dead. Who should you be looking for right now?
Supports?
Who?
Ana's right there to the right of me, yeah.
I wouldn't even say supports. I would say Ana or Ashe.
Sig?
Ana or Ashe.
Ashe, okay.
Yes, be very specific, right? It's just about the 1v1, right? This hero has the stupidest hitbox in the game, right? This hero also has Suzu. This hero also has teleport, right?
Yeah. No point in there, yeah.
This needs to be your priority. You're trading on the Sigma, ignore the Sigma, ignore the Kiriko. Stop.
We have wall up too, yeah, agreed.
Right. That Ana Ashe, those heroes, if they're uncontested, will kill you. Nicely done. Huh. Alright, back to high ground. Don't lose track of where they're at. You should be able to go back high. Yep.
We give him this for free. I feel like I went up here because my Ashe was set up here. I should have probably just contested high ground because she is coach and she needs to get back up there.
Okay, well you're a pick up now, so I might drop and take a position in here and see in here. At least peek in here and see what's going on, you know? But at the same time, this is definitely where your team is holding, so I don't think it's unreasonable for you to be where you're at. Sigma, shoot. Nicely done. This is a cute little position here.
I love that spot. It's just a great spot, honestly. I won't get into the details, but great spot for Sigma, I feel like.
They're on a Widow now too. Where should you be right now?
Contesting the Widow right side?
Right, there's no reason. Why? You don't care about this, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's the 1v1. Like, who do you control better? You throw one volley, she has to leave. Or she dies. That's it.
Agreed.
Good. Unfortunate. But this is the peel. Do you see it?
Yeah.
This is the peel. Like, this is the thing. Okay, so this is where you have to you really have to know your hero. Okay, like you have to understand your hero and your hero's strengths. Is this what Sigma is good at? Going back and protecting your backline?
No, he's good at poking out, making the backline for them hell.
Right, he's controlling the enemy backline / the enemy range threats. Right now, Tracer, Genji, those heroes not so good. Kiriko is not so good. Lucio's not so good. But Widowmakers, yes. Holding high grounds, yes. You should be here, trusting your backline and proactively protecting them by controlling space that you're good at controlling. You just, look at how pathetic you look. Like, really, truly, I'm not, like, look at how pathetic you look. Let's say this Sigma takes high ground here, with this flux right here. Do you see this?
My team's screwed, yeah.
They're dead. What are you doing here? I got it, guys. They just shoot right over you. Like, you're not even a diva matrix that could actually maybe properly peel. There's not you did if there was any threat to be had there, it was from the Widow taking a follow-up shot off of the flux, which ironically you still would not have blocked. You see that? You see the sightline? So, and I'm concerned. I'm really concerned right now because remember the power ISO. Right, we're hard focus on the tank trade right now. I'm really spooked because I don't know what's on our right. I don't know what's right. Look at this. You should be here. You should be literally here. Right? You should have gone here. Okay, there's no Widow. I'm deeper. Okay, maybe I can drop on back, literally drop back on my turret maybe, or at the very least spam with my Torb here, or I go here, right here, and I do the exact same thing that I'm doing right now, but I do it on better targets, right? Imagine
Agreed,
this position here.
Much better than just low ground.
Nice rock. So, problematic. Okay. So, what are you seeing so far with your Sigma?
I'm not really capitalizing. I feel like whenever the fight's over, to get the best position possible. I feel like, I mean, there was one situation where that happened, maybe 2 times, but right there it was very critical. I think it was just a good Kiriko rush, and I got a pretty good rock off on the start, and then the team kind of fell apart. I think it was off the Sigma. I'm not sure. But yeah, no, just kind of resetting back to high ground. So then I can already tell this second point right here, the Widow's going to be a big problem. I think I swapped pretty much instantly, and this is when I really need help with my Winston. Like I feel like he's all about controlling space, being able to like maybe jump on a higher ground if they're below, for example. And just kind of, I feel like I'm lost a lot of the time. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I'm very lost. It's definitely not GM level, maybe not even Masters level, to be honest. Like I feel like I don't play confidently because my team is just, I don't know, no communication with my team sometimes.
Sure. We'll take a look.
No other diveable targets or anything. Like we have a Torb and Ash, and a Widow's a problem.
So. We'll take a look. Okay, so let's watch a little bit of the Sigma first. This is silly. So your job here is to poke out Ramatra when you can. But again, it's about controlling these guys, right? As much as you possibly. Like, these targets are delightful, right? You could do so much work on them. You could do so much work on this guy. This guy, maybe, but avoid him as much as you possibly can to go for targets that are just better. I don't like your pathing here. I would have much preferred pathing here to here, from this cover here, poke out this Ash, and then rotate to here on the Widow. You just kind of like walk straight out in the open.
Into nothing.
And your shield is busted. You probably should have died there, actually. One more headshot, you would have died there. But yeah, okay. And this is just resource management. This is just, you needed to guard your HP a little bit more and greed a little bit less. So the first problem here is you use all your shield on a really bad rotate. Okay. You then start your rotate without your full shield. So then you have to shield at half HP. You drop your shield, you take damage. You then shoot and rock. You probably could have stayed here. You get greedy for the kill. You don't get the kill. You take damage. You take a lot of damage. You then have to shift. And you're taking so much space, but then you actually have to give it up just because you got a little bit sloppy with your resource management. You see that?
Agreed, yeah.
So just be a little bit better with conserving your shield. And this is really important for Sigma on the attack. You need to manage your cover, and you need to manage your shield. Otherwise, you're just going to struggle. I like this. Again here, though, why are we rotating at
200 HP, yeah.
393 HP and no shield. Why? And you don't even have a shift yet. Like, you don't necessarily need a shift to do this rotate, but you would certainly like to have another 100 HP and another 200 HP on your shield, right? Surely.
Agreed. Yeah, another 2 seconds, that would have been perfect.
Right. There. Good. I mean, this is all relatively fine, right? Like, look at their DPS dispositions, right? The Ashe is still a little bit of a problem, but you've slowly, sequentially pushed their backline back. Very good. And you've done so without shooting that Ramatra really once at all. You bait him to walk forward, but now this position isn't really controlled by his team, is it? It's controlled by you guys. So he can't really, he should not get away with this. And if he does, then that's just resource management on your end, right? It's that simple. Like, this is just, if you've got more HP, you've got a little bit more shield. And also, if you recall your shield properly as well, there it is. It's too late. Should have been done immediately. So to be honest with you, you did everything right here outside of actually play the game properly. you did like you did textbook walk forward, take space, sequentially clear out the DPS and take space.
Yeah, ebb flow kind of. Yeah.
But your cover usage was horrific and your cooldown usage was horrific. So it's not that deep, to be honest with you. And I also really don't think that you should have felt the need to swap to Winston here. I hope that you could see out from that fight, at least, that you just played horribly. And that's why you died. There's nothing wrong specifically with Sigma. Now, second point, I don't know. We'll see when we get there. Good. Clear the Ashe. Go take that Widow position. Nice. We bait their Nemesis. Surely you don't die again. Again, it's just micro, right? Like right here. Just be careful, please. Like, where's your cover, right? Yeah. You walked out to here. You didn't know the status of Nemesis for it.
No LOS supports, yeah.
No supports. You get shot at a little bit. And you're like, oh, crap.
They pop Valk for it, right? No, they don't pop Valk.
Yeah. Okay. Great job. Now, who's your priority?
Probably clear out the high ground right here. And,
Yep.
and push forward.
And you clear the high ground. Why? Who's on the high ground?
Ash with the
Ash,
Mercy pocket.
who you coincidentally are very good at 1v1.
Oh,
And you drop.
love it. And
Yeah.
I think I tried to jump and I was too short.
That's
Yeah,
that's okay.
which is
That's okay.
bad.
That's okay. So yeah, you would optimally be able to continue this rotate here and just like let the Ramatra sit in the floor. And if he's gonna push you, he's gonna have to really reach. You know what I'm saying? Cover, 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 cover. This fight should have been won. We needed to do a better job controlling that Ash. Unlucky.
I think that was an unfortunate flux. Yeah, I got shifted or I got pulled down by the Ramatra and it was kind of disorienting.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't really used to it. So I remember that honestly made me lose some composure. I wasn't like banging my desk, but I was like, dang it, man, that could have been a 3-net,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
That's being pulled down.
Very frustrating.
It's
And,
just,
and obviously the major problem
you know,
here is that because you got pulled on, you whiff Lux, look at where you're at right now. You know what I'm saying? You're not on a high ground, you're not on an angle. You can control this Batiste, but the Ramatra's right on your teeth. We're spooked.
Yep.
And that's what happens.
Yeah,
Winnable, yes. And there's a Winston swap. So
there's a Winston, yeah.
let's just shelve the Sigma. What needs to be practiced with Sigma?
Resource management, better pathing, I feel like, better
Resource management is a skill that you need to develop. How do you develop that skill?
with practice. I mean, just continuously
With what?
knowing,
Like, what are you doing during your practice? I want you to be very specific with this if you can.
like during warm up, or what do you mean by that?
Just
like,
in the game, how do you practice your resource management? What do you think?
being more smart about it, just being okay. Like I have 300 shield left, and I have a 2-second cooldown on it, and I have shift.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, and I have 300 health. Yeah, hey, like I shouldn't push in here, but
Right.
I feel like it's the battle in my head is going on is like, okay, well they don't have cooldowns too right now. I could be aggressive right now, but they don't have dynamite. They don't have, I don't know what a big cooldown would be. They don't have, I don't know. They don't have any cooldowns. They don't have rock. They don't have all these things. I guess it is definitely more safer though. I do agree. If I just kind of played it more safe and wait for them to get their cooldowns back too, and because I do have the space advantage.
So in theory, you're making this overly complicated. Like, I agree with you, but you're making this overly complicated. Look at this, for example. What was the issue?
Yeah, this
here?
was just stupid.
This was just stupid, right? Just stupid, right? Okay. Now here, what cooldowns have you seen that you want to punish right now? That you have to punish literally right now?
I don't even know, honestly.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's nothing.
It's not that
nothing I need
deep.
to
It's
punish.
not that deep. What you're saying is a scenario where, oh yeah, they just use this, then I need to push even though I don't have my cooldowns. Yeah, that makes total sense, right? Total sense.
You're right here, it's stupid.
But
I agree.
it doesn't matter. Like this is not what happened. You just walked. And then if we go back to the previous fight, or the next fight, excuse me. Irrelevant here too, right?
Yeah.
You see
No,
that
it's non-nemesis to walk away.
that wasn't the issue, right? It was just simply you didn't use your cooldowns properly. You just kind of got a little bit of you got too antsy, right? It's not that deep. So I think for you, it's just what I want you to work is that put a little bit more attention onto the status of your cooldowns and then how you should play around that. If you've got no cooldowns but they've got no cooldowns, okay, then we've got a nuanced situation. But if you've got no cooldowns and you're trying to do something aggressive for no other reason, then you need to be really, really cautious. Okay, let's talk about Winston. What is Winston good at? We talked about this with Sigma. Let's talk about this with Winston. What are the strengths of Winston?
I think he's really good at like forcing people off high ground and then kind of containing it and then, like making a lot of space really fast and then disengaging really fast.
He's
I
the
think
same
what I
thing
need
with
to work
Sigma,
on.
really? Like where like you love to jump Widows and Ashes and Mercies and Baptistes. Well, but what's the major difference between you and Sigma? Obviously.
Mobility.
Right. You're worse at 1v1ing a squishy than Sigma. But you have the option to get to squishies that Sigma wouldn't otherwise be able to access. You see what I'm saying? And you can also go in a situation where you can disengage if things go poorly. Okay, anything else?
I
think that's mostly it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's check it out. Now the same thing though, and the reason why that's so important is because what you're about to do right now, you got to be really careful, right? Because I see that attention on the Ramatra, and that makes total sense. You're gonna bubble him off and kill him, but you got to be really careful. That's just not a 1v1 that you're very good at, so be very careful.
Yep.
You got to find the balance between bubble and isolation versus taking an unnecessary 1v1.
I think I called out Mercy right here.
Yeah.
But that was a stupid bubble though. I'm seeing it now. I'm full HP. no point. Now I don't have bubble, but I guess it doesn't matter because
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, you were using it because you're like, I just don't want to take damage. I won't need it. Now, right now, where should you be and why?
high ground.
High ground. Why?
Just because they have double sniper.
All right. You don't want to take any damage. You don't want to take any damage. You want to be able to drop on them if necessary. I don't think you being on point is the worst thing in the world.
I think I remember why. It's because I can't really tell because of stream quality. I didn't want them to recontest, and there was only 2 people on point. But at the same time, it's like they're gonna recontest anyway.
Right,
so
right.
Like I should just get high ground.
Exactly.
So I agree with you.
Okay, you should not be here. This is a Ramatra.
Yeah,
Ramatra is not the worst 1v1 in the world, but it is not a good 1v1.
I think my mindset was to body block, but it just didn't work.
Right,
so,
right.
Really
And then
bad,
wait for it. 3, 2, 1.
They're all high ground, yeah. Or ashes, yeah.
This sucker. And this sucker. That's your responsibility. And you're gonna go there, but only after you gave her an opportunity to hit a shot. Only after you took 50, 60 of your armor down.
Oh, she was so low. I should have finished her. I had no idea.
I don't. You had not hit her, so you didn't know. This is good.
Yeah.
Now the funny here, this is literally tanking in a nutshell. Watch this right now. Watch this. This 1v1 is favorable for you, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You force lamp. You zap well. Look at their backline.
They're all stuck in there. No,
look at your backline. Right? Do you see this?
Mm-hmm.
The reason why you and your Ramatra ignore each other is because Ramatra is scarier to your squishies than he's scary to you, and you're scarier to his squishies than he's scary to you. So you ignore each other, and you do what you're most effective at, and it's going to depend upon which one of you does that job better. Now, you ask me right now, who do you think is probably going to win this fight based off of what we see right now?
My team, yeah.
Probably your team. Now, bubble is very, very valuable cooldown, so it could still go either way, but I think your team has slightly better positions, so as long as you don't feed, I think you guys have a pretty good shot to win. Ah. Do it again. Right. Do it again. Exactly. Be very careful about peeking outside your bubble, but do it again. Now, get out. He's outplaying you. He's outplaying you with that jump.
Yeah, with the bubble or with the E.
Yep. Okay. Reasonable. It's clearly not a comfortable hero for you, but you're not trolling the lobby. Now this is where we really want to see, right?
Yep.
All right.
I think this point right here is where I really crumble, and where it becomes a full-fledged tank diff. I just am lost. My primal juggling needs serious work. Yeah.
Okay. Now,
so
you're looking at a Ramatra, but you're also looking at a Cassidy, and you're also looking at an Ashe. So, theoretically, the target priority here isn't the end of the world. But, what do you need to be really cautious about right now?
I mean, they're all going to do crazy damage to me. His Nen, he has Flash, Cass has Flash.
Sure, but you have Bubble and Primal.
Primal, yeah.
And you're going to do crazy damage to them. Let me ask you a question. How many enemies are you going to be fighting?
Probably about 3 or more. Their supports are gonna be right, but the whole team, honestly, like it looks like, yeah, the whole team.
Okay, so what's the problem?
I'm in a bad spot. They're about to push me down. I think I try and primal them into a wall.
Nice. But
Cart's all the way over there. Yeah.
This is the problem. This is the problem. Now you might win this because you guys have a metric butt ton of ultimates, and you're gonna get really nice cleave here. But this is the problem. Okay, it's not that deep. It's a 5v4.
So how would you, I'm curious now, because this is where I feel like I struggle a lot on, is how would you play this? Would you just
you're Ashe,
from the high ground?
I would watch my Ashe very carefully. If my Ashe is not disengaging and or might die, I would go. I would take the 4v5. It's like how you play in gold, right? Where like, okay, we're just staggering, so I'm just gonna take a 4v5, because I guess that's what my team is doing, right? And if she does disengage, then you disengage as well, because that's the disadvantage of attackers. You have to worry about payload, right? The defenders don't. They only have to worry about space. So what I would do here is I would sit here. If they clear us out, okay, we drop out. If I see them pushing Ashe, I'm going to go back in and punish them for pushing my Ashe. You see? If my Ashe backs out like she should, then we're just going to keep pushing cart. And at some point, they're going to try and contest cart, or they're going to start... The high ground's going to get too hot, and you are going to have to go. But I'm concerned that this is, like, you can see the problem here. Like, you guys are having to overcompensate because you're so scared because it's a 5v3, 5v4. And now I'm concerned that this Bob and Primal will get nothing done.
Yes, I believe so. And he has Nemesis or
yep, and that's it.
Too.
And that's it right there. It's not that deep. Your Ashe did not have a good angle. Your Mercy, Kiriko did not have good angles to support. Your Torb is literally just watching, right? The Bob does nothing. It's over. So it's not your mechanics. You know, it's just, and even here, right?
I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah.
Ready? You know, like he wishes he could help. You know.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think just play with my team more. I played way one track minded here on Winston.
Yeah. Just be aware of where your team can fight. That's it. That's really all there is to it.
Yeah, no way I can. If the Mercy's peeling for my left click, it's like she can out heal him. So
right, exactly.
Not out heal, but it's like 5 damage less. I think.
Right. Well, it's like what your entire team wasn't fighting together. That's it. It's really just that's it. Because even if the Mercy's healing, but your team is following up, then you're distracting the Mercy, and your team can follow up elsewhere. Like it just fight as 5 as much as you can. Fight as 5 as much as you can. You hold there. Oh no, they're clearing us out. They're doing a good job. I mean, if they do their homework and clear you off of high ground, unfortunate. But you know what? If they drop off of high ground, they can't go back up, and you can. So you could drop off, disengage, play slow. Maybe the Ramatra drops a contest, and you go back, take high ground, and kill the squishies. This is silly. This is really silly. This is silly.
So where should I go here? And no, this was the part where I just like am so mad at myself. I remember telling you about that.
Yeah.
No bubble. I jump on a Kree or a Cass and a Mercy pocket, and I have the whole team basically.
Again, I'm gonna move my camera, and you're gonna feel really stupid.
No, I know. This is what like ended for me last night. I was like, this was last game.
And how do you expect to win this? It's not even about the Cassidy or the damage booster. How on earth do you expect to win this? And let me add something else that just makes it extra funny. Okay. What is the most powerful tank cooldown in the game?
In this current lobby or just in general?
Just in general.
Nemesis, I feel like is really scary.
Okay. I would disagree. I think it's really scary, but I don't think it's as powerful as another cooldown.
Do you think Bubble is scary, or?
I think there are only 3 cooldowns that can have an argument for being the strongest. I think Fortify from Orisa, in terms of the most important that you play around. Maybe Shout from Junker Queen, and Bubble from Winston.
And then Jump.
And Bubble from Winston. Okay. Yeah, Bubble from Winston. Because that is the difference between you putting out a lot of pressure and you dying instantly. I mean, there are entire metas. Like, whenever a Winston meta is played, everything revolves around Winston Bubble. Everything. Everything.
I remember seeing that in Overwatch League.
Yeah, everything. Even if they're like actual proper dive metas, it still revolves around Bubble.
What I should have done there is hold the high ground longer, I feel like. Wait for my team, and then I could have engaged.
Right, so the question is could you hold here without your team? I'm not sure. Yeah. Potentially, if that Cassidy gets up top, it gets an angle on you and pokes you out, you might have to like disengage to here. But yes, I would have waited, see what they do. Okay, they pushed me out. I'm going to clear out. That's okay. Now my team's here. Now I can go back in, maybe take the high ground here, go from there. But this is again, not that deep. Your team wasn't there. You didn't have bubble. That's it.
Yep.
Because like that's another problem with like, not a problem, but like something you have to be really careful about with your mentality is like, what I'm saying is so far as you have a tendency to overthink things a little bit. It's not that hard. You didn't take a target as 5. You didn't have your bubble. That's it.
Yep.
We're back on the Sigma. We're back on the Winston.
I don't know what.
We're on the Orisa. Do you want to look at some Orisa?
Yeah, no, I actually have an Orisa clip next. Do we have time for that, or is it? No, wait. When do we start? 12:15? No, we don't. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
You know what? Here's what we'll do. You want to look at some Orisa?
Sure. Yeah. Let's do that.
We'll look at 2 fights of Orisa. We'll look at 2 or 3 fights. I'm not gonna even ask you what Orisa's good at because the answer is everything.
Everything, yeah, I know.
Well, she's good at poke. She's good at brawl. It's just about are you managing your cooldowns properly? Like truly though, like Orisa's a lot like Ramatra, where it's like the new dynamic Overwatch 2 hero design, where like. Which one are you? Mush? Okay, yeah, Mush. I didn't see you for a second. It's to where it's just, are you playing around your cooldowns properly? Like, because you could be really good at Brawl, you could be really good at Poke, but if your cover usage is bad, if your Fortify usage is bad, your Javelin Spin usage is bad, then you're the worst hero at Poke, the worst hero at Brawl. You're worse than Rhino at Brawl, you're worse than Sigma at Poke, unless you have your cooldowns, right? So that's it.
Wait, I can't hear you right now.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, who should you be pressuring right now?
Probably the Sojourn and Mercy pocket. I feel like that's my biggest responsibility.
Maybe. Yeah. Do you want to be playing this range versus the Widowmaker and Sojourn Mercy?
No, absolutely not. No. I think I just start high ground with my team, and then I drop to the pillar.
Right. So Sigma might stay here for a second with shield, but you certainly can't.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yep,
Why are you
I
spinning?
agree. Yeah, I don't know why I spent javelin right there.
Well, I mean, you're going to be taking a lot of damage, I predict.
I mean right clicks, javelin throw. I don't know why I really spent that on the way down.
So why do you spin?
Why do I spin?
I know why you spin.
For the
What is this
what's his name?
gap? What is this gap here between this and the corner here? Why are you here? Sit here.
Kind of holding space.
Sit here, peak corner. Sit here in peak corner. And then only, like, here's the thing. When your cover usage and your positioning is bad, you will be forced to use cooldowns for no other reason than the fact that your positioning is bad. That is not what your cooldowns are for. Your cooldowns are either to push or to disengage. That's it.
Okay.
Or to hold space if you get pushed. Like, for example, if this Ramatra turns the corner and pushes onto you, then you can javelin spin and knock him back, right? He took a risk. You are just javelin spinning here because your positioning, your cover usage sucks. Welcome to Overwatch 2. Cover matters. You see, what does that actually do, right? Nothing. Ah, you missed your javelin. You look like me now. And do you see how you missing your javelin forces you to use what?
My shift.
Your shift. So you missed position, you javelin spin. You miss your javelin, you fortify. And now you've started a snowball that, yes, you will survive, but you're going to have to run away. Now, you've given up.
Yes,
You've messed up, you have to lose space.
Yeah.
Or maybe you will die. You shouldn't die. You should run away, right? Running away is better than dying. Again, you disengaged poorly, right? So now you have to use your javelin
Disengage
spin.
faster, would you say?
Well, you disengage. Yeah, you need to disengage way faster.
Okay.
And because you don't, you get caught here. And because you get caught here and because you push up and get a little sloppy, you almost die. And so then once again, do you see how your positioning has cost you? This is the second javelin spin off of poor positioning in a row. You see this?
Yeah, no.
No, right. Now, here's another question. When this Sojourn is damage boosted, you want to kind of control her maybe a little bit. But maybe the better option here would be, can I get closer to that Sojourn so that I can control her more without taking damage? Not really sure. Can I take an angle on this Ramatra and poke him out, right? Because you're really good at poking out a Ramatra, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Because I get why you don't want to position here because the Widow's a problem. But maybe you can position here if you javelin the Widow, right? So maybe what I would do here is I would swing to here, avoid the Sojourn Mercy, javelin and spam the Widowmaker, and just ignore the Ramatra because he can't really poke you out much.
Okay.
It's tricky, right? Like, this hero is really strong, but there is a ton of nuance to this hero. Again,
For sure.
you just can't push. It's the same thing that you made, the same mistake you made with the Winston earlier. I don't care. Actually, you know what? It's the same problem you had with the Sigma. Remember that? Remember that in the first rotation? Remember that? Look at your cooldowns. Look at your HP.
Yep.
You cannot push here. You cannot push here. So that's again cover. Like, cause like, okay, is that spin necessary? Right.
No,
here.
it was just mobility. I agree. Yeah.
Right? No, I'm baiting you. I think this spin was probably necessary to cross from point A to point B safely. Okay?
You think so? Yeah.
I think so too. I really do think so. I think it was totally fine. This fortify maybe a little bit early.
Yep.
But whatever. What's the problem now?
I should be on the Sojourn right now.
You should be on the Sojourn, which you are in the Sojourn. However, what's the problem now?
Widow's just by looking at me.
Look at your
staring
positioning.
my face.
Look at your positioning.
I'm just open now. Yeah, there's no cover near me.
So
there is cover near me, but it could be closer.
Let me ask you a question. If you had javelin spin right now, you would probably have to use it right now, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Because your positioning is bad. But now you don't even have javelin spin, so now you might just die. Oh, she misses. Okay.
Oh, yeah. She did miss. Wow.
Brilliant. This is one thing that I've been working on with Orisa, is going for the lower percentage javelins. Not the lower percentage javelins, but not just autopiloting javelin the enemy tank, because if you hit one, they die. Or they get significant pressure. Nice job.
Thank you. No, actually,
that was silly.
My supports were really good because I watched J3 stream after this, and I heard them complaining the whole game that, like, Orisa won't die. But it was honestly just my supports, like, yellow beaming me and keeping me up the whole game.
Right. What do you think about this, by the way? Why spin?
Terrible javelin spin.
Why spin?
Why? It's like I'm eating her tickets for no reason.
Yeah, it's just marginal. Is it useful? Yes, but like barely, right?
Why? Yeah. Orisa's coming in. If I knew the Orisa was coming in, maybe I wouldn't have done it. But it's still regardless.
And a question here: why are you fortifying? Look at your armor. Look at your HP. Are you in any risk of getting pressured here?
Not all, no. Sojourn's dead.
Throw the
Widow's
javelin,
there.
shoot her in the head, and then make her fortify her javelin spend first, and then, you know, fortify as you need to.
Yep. I agree. I used it way too early there.
The only time you should fortify early is when?
When I'm taking heat, when I'm taking a lot of damage, or like I want you always want the Orisa to fortify first, the other Orisa, like that, and that's huge for the cooldown battle.
Okay. Here's the thing. It's going to depend on which Orisa gets the most value out of the fortify. I think the general consensus is that whatever Orisa uses fortify first usually wins, but or loses. But that's because generally it means that the Orisa messed up. That's why she has to fortify. Now let me ask you a question. If you fortify first, but you get a ton of value out of that fortify, you soak up a lot of damage, your gun doesn't overheat, so you put out a lot more damage. Is it necessarily bad to fortify first?
No. I mean,
as long as you get it out of it, right? So there is, again, it's like the same thing with like the Junker Queen shot. Oh, you should try and, you know, use Junker Queen shot second. No, bull crap. It's about which team uses it better. The problem there is not that you fortified first, it's the fact that there just was no reason to fortify at all, right? That's it. So when we're talking cooldowns, did you force Sigma shift first? Did you fortify? I don't care who used it first. Who got more out of the cooldown? What did you get out of this fortify?
Nothing. Honestly, straight up nothing.
Nothing. You were totally healthy. You were not preserving your armor HP. You could probably have fortified now, right? Just as your armor was starting to whittle down. But yeah, that's it.
So that's another question too. I know that it's 75 armor now, or 75 green health, whatever it is. When should I fortify? When I'm full HP and I know I'm about to take damage, or should I do it when I'm just about to lose my yellow armor, whatever it's called?
I would find the nuance based off of what you're fighting. If you know that the enemy team has a lot of burst damage that can chunk through your armor very quickly, then you probably will want to fortify a little bit earlier, because if they chip you out of your armor and then you fortify, then yeah, you're in trouble. But if they've got something that doesn't have a lot of burst, then you could be a little bit more patient with it. And I wouldn't wait until you were almost out of armor. I'd wait to like look at your HP right now. If I were to give you a ballpark number, like 400, you know what I'm saying? Maybe 400. But obviously that would be something that you'd have to be careful about depending on the burst. This is a really, 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 really dangerous thing that you're doing right now. So
yeah,
cover usage, but also it's the attention. This is called what I call the tank trap. Okay, we talk about your Sigma, right? You could spend all day shooting at the enemy Sigma, but what's happening on the right above the Orisa right now?
Mercy pocketed Sojourn.
Mercy pocketed Sojourn. Any bullet that you land on this idiot right here is big return on investment. And if you javelin this and you hit it, holy mackerel! Now you might not hit it, but the return on investment is infinitely higher than putting in random spam damage on Orisa across the map.
Agreed.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
You see it again, don't you? Bad positioning forces a cooldown.
Yeah.
Look at your HP. Look at your HP. Look at your HP. Bad positioning forces 2 cooldowns. And
why do I stay there? Yeah, I don't know why I stay there. I should just get out.
And you javelin to the air. You actually went for the Orisa javelin, even though there's a Sojourn pushed up in front of her.
Cancel fortified here to get it back faster too.
Yeah. That's probably reasonable. There wasn't an obvious spear target there, but would have been also fine to sit on it for a little bit and maybe harpoon that. But do you see how like your positioning has meant that you guys have lost this trade and now we're fighting on point?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. This is where you should be shooting Widowmaker, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think like a couple of pot shots on her head, you can just like spam at head level like a Kiriko, and then just force her out or force her to disengage a little bit. Because or be like where's the Sojourn right now? You know, you can't shoot her right now, but be aware of where she is. Again, it's a tank trap. We do not want you focusing on just enemy Orisa. The return on investment is just not high enough. You just are not going to be the guy that's always going to be able to force her cooldowns and win a cooldown trade. Again, that javelin right there, like
What are you? My shit. This is a crazy cleanse.
I mean, yeah, it was a crazy cleanse. Like, by the way, I appreciate you pushing J3 without shift there. That is 100% a cue for using your ult.
No, I wanted to. I saw him shift during his ult, so I was like, all right, time to get this guy. But I think I got the mercy out of it though too.
You did, yeah.
that spear.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Let's watch one more fight.
My ultimate is almost ready. My ultimate is almost ready.
Ah, come on. Come on. She's gold. Give me a break. And another thing too is like shooting her now is fine, but there's a sojourn on my left right now. I'm begging you to. I hope to goodness that you turn to your left right now. Nope. Nope. Still shooting the Orisa. It's fine now. Javelin her. Ah. Now we're good, right? Because look at this Orisa in comparison to the rest of her team, right?
Yeah, I see that she's half.
Shoot the Orisa. She's dead.
Yeah.
Ha, you see? She's cooked. She had to pull it way too early. I mean, this fight's pretty much lost, but I don't think you played it unreasonably. Oh my gosh, that's a huge misplay.
I'm trying to C9. I'm trying to C9 them, or not C9 them, but not have the Mercy
I was
touch.
laughing at the Mercy. The Mercy misplayed horribly.
Wait, what did you fly in? Enough to replay it,
Yeah, she just didn't. I don't know why she didn't get out. Oh, J3, calm. Don't shoot the ball. Okay, shoot the ball now. But right now, like I know the ball's like low, but I might even. There's a really good argument here for you to just ignore the ball and shoot the Widow right now. Like again, it's like what is really scary to you and to your team. You know, I just this is what you got to be thinking. Is just like I understand that you're not very good at shooting a Widowmaker, but you're not bad either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it just pressures her a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
This is fine. Ah, it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, it's funny. Like, I don't know that there was a lot you could have done there, but what did we say, right? Look at what happened.
Yeah. And
that's exactly what. And she was exactly the person that carried. The ball was literally worthless. The ball was just a big fat distraction for you. She pops her infra sights early. That was nice of her to do that for us. Okay, we're gonna clear high. You got to be really careful here, obviously, but this is good. Nice little spear there. Now, I will say this, sometimes it's okay to spin like this. So what I might do with this is almost is like, hey, look at me. Meanwhile, the people behind you can actually shoot. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a defense matrix almost. And also it also allows you to kind of peek out aggressively here. So maybe these guys die. So this is where like javelin spinning for like nothing is sometimes I think okay. Okay. This is not good. You really, truly should just ignore this guy. You really, truly should just ignore this guy. And, like, at least be putting some pot shots this direction. And then you also fortify as well. And you fortify because you're spooked to getting shot, right? But you're spooked to getting shot because you're not even looking at the Widowmaker. If you looked here, what would you see?
Like 3 people all just shooting us.
Do you see there's nobody there right now?
Oh,
You see that? So you wouldn't fortify, would you?
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd
sure,
keep shooting, and then maybe now you would fortify as you're spamming out these backliners. Or you would just drop the point and still have your fortify available. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so much of Orisa just comes down to the attention of, like, putting attention on the right targets and then using your cooldowns appropriately with good cover. Do you have any questions?
No, that was really helpful.
This hero's hard. She's strong, so you don't have to play her well to win games. But like to min max is like unbelievably difficult.
No, for sure. So just a few key takeaways. I know that we're kind of running over, but
That's
like
okay. That's okay.
I can try and name off a few that you've listed. But if there's anything I'm missing, let me know. I think cooldown rotation and cooldown management is very important.
Okay, stop you right there. Stop right there. The cooldown, you were losing cooldown trades because you weren't thinking about it, but mostly by bad positioning, right? And by what about your positioning was bad?
Being out in the open, honestly,
right there,
no reason.
Right there. That's it. Your hitbox is just too big. Your hitbox is just too big. So if you play corners better, just playing corners better is going to give you a massive advantage versus a lot of tanks at your rank with winning cooldown trades. So it's a mixture of understanding, but actually it really just starts with good positioning. Okay, continue. Sorry.
Just having more confidence, honestly, as well.
Okay.
I feel like you could tell like I just wasn't confident in some points with my play, and I think that's because I was taking a lot of damage from bad positioning. So I feel like at the end of the day, everything rotates or falls
Sure.
back into bad positioning.
Yeah,
Or
bad positioning.
could be better positioning.
Yeah, and the one thing I'd add there at the end is just your attention of who you're shooting. You know, that Orisa is way overextended, doesn't have Fortify. I shoot the Orisa because I can do a lot of damage to her. But if that Orisa is fortified and or there's a Sojourn right next to her, yes, I might not land as many ticky dopamine-inducing shots, but those shots, javelins, are going to matter so much more. I made this mistake, like I said on stream a couple days ago, where I was playing versus a very aggressive Reinhardt, and I got all up in my head and was like just permanently burning that Reinhardt to like 1 HP, and he just didn't die. Meanwhile, his Echo was running all over me. Where like even if I'd hit literally 1 javelin on that Echo, we would have won the fight. Like literally 3 times in a row, and I felt like an idiot. That's the kind of stuff. Like, it's not fun missing javelins and missing half of your shots because you're aiming at a Widowmaker, but oftentimes that is the play. Now, I'm not saying you permanently snipe a Widowmaker, but you know, you understand what I'm saying.
Pressure, yeah, get her down to 150 or something.
Right,
Backs her off a little bit. Yeah.
Right. That sort of pressure is just infinitely more valuable. Now, if we're talking about like a Winston or a Roadhog or a Junker Queen, it gets a little bit trickier, right? Because those targets, you could really soak damage on those targets, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's still important to shoot Widowmakers and Sojourn, but it's a spectrum, right? It's a lot of taking comes down to just taking favorable 1v1s. Who's a target that I can actually threaten a kill on easier? Okay. Any questions?
No, thank you very much. This VOD will be up for a while, right? I can always go back to it.
It will be up for as long as YouTube is around, because what I do now is I have like that Spilo 2 channel where I post all the Twitch streams up on. So if you aren't subbed to that, it'll be up there probably by tonight or tomorrow.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. Are you familiar with the replay code rule?
No.
Okay, send me a replay code in a week, month from now. Anytime that you have a game or a map on Sigma, Winston, whatever, Orisa, and you're like, I don't know what I needed to do here. I felt a little confused. Send me a few timestamps, and I'll get back with you in a day or two with some written feedback. A little bit of follow-up.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that.
You are very welcome. Good luck with your climb. Remember the stuff that we talked about before the even gameplay. That's equally important, if not more so.
Yeah.
All right,
and just to let you know one more thing, I really appreciate like all the content you make. I think it's really good. I think it helps out a lot of the community and just makes the general player base like a lot better. And I hope more people see you, honestly. It's kind of, I think you should be more popular than you know what you are. I always tell people about you and they're like, oh, I haven't heard of this guy, and then they're like, oh my god, I love this guy, awesome. And they're mostly like masters and GM players, so
I appreciate that.
Keep on spreading the good news about you. So
thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm screwing myself over because every time I get to a rank lobby, it gets just tougher and tougher, so you know, whatever. All right, mate, I really appreciate your kind words. Good luck with your improvement. Keep in touch, okay?
Yeah, for sure, man. Take
cheers,
care.
Mush. See you. All right, that was Mush, the GM Tech Extraordinaire. Hope you guys found that one fun. That one was very fun. We got to talk a little bit about Sigma. We got to talk a little bit about Winston. Got to talk a little bit about Orisa. I enjoy the variety. I mean, it's like we always talk about like hero pools and things like that, but it's fun going over a lot of different heroes, and I don't mind going over at all either. Okay, let's do some Ask Spilo, y'all, and then we'll figure out where we want to go from there. Has Junker Queen already made a Junker Queen? Has Spilo already made a Junker Queen coaching? Well, I actually have an edited Junker Queen session that I could put. Would you guys want me to post a Junker Queen session tomorrow? I could do it tomorrow if you guys want. So I try and mix it up, you know? So like I did that stupid rat video, and then I do a little bit of the communication video, and now I'm doing a coaching to coach. And before that I did the free coaching, and then the ult charge tip, and then the Ana coaching. But I have a Junker Queen VOD edited and ready to go. I could do that one tomorrow if you guys want. Who said that? That would be great. Okay, if I don't, message me on Discord and yell at me because I might forget, but I will try and not forget. So yeah, it's a good session too. We talked a little bit about cooldowns. So yeah. Called me out for being a boomer. What did I call you out for being a boomer? Do a Moira VOD? I haven't gotten much Moira coaching. I don't think I've actually done any Moira. So let me think about the heroes. What heroes have I done here? Overwatch heroes. Maybe not. They've not all made it onto YouTube, or maybe some of them have been private coaching sessions. We've definitely done Ana, Ashe, yes, Bap, yes, Bastion. A little bit, yes. We've done a little bit of Bastion. Actually, I have a lot more Bastion coaching coming up soon. That's all I'll say about that. Stay tuned on that one. We've got something exciting coming on behind the scenes. Going to be coaching a certain Bastion player. Brig, we've done some coaching on Brig. Yep. Cassidy. Yep. Diva. Yep. Doomfist. Yep. A little bit of Echo. Yes. Genji. Ton of Genji back in the day. Yes. A little bit of Hanzo. Maybe not. Actually, I don't know if I've done Hanzo. Actually. Junker Queen. Yes. Junk. With Jake, yes, but no, not by myself. No. Yes, no, yes, a little bit recently, a little bit. Yes, a little bit. Yes. No, I coached a Symmetra team, but I didn't coach the Symmetra player exactly. No. Yes. So it's mostly like Torb, Symmetra, not enough Ryan Ramantra, or no Moira, no Junkrat really, no, not much Bastion either. And Hanzo, yeah. Would you say that Bastion player mains Bastion? What an oddly specific question. Okay, let's do some Ask Spilo mates. I'm going to close on Overwatch really quick because I want to use Epic Pen, and Epic Pen always freaks with Overwatch. So, the traditional troll heroes, yes. All right, let's do this, mates. Ask Spilo, why do you feel Brig is in a bad spot? Is the range kind of like the BAP issue, like a lack of utility? Yeah, I think that's definitely a good point here. So it's like you look at the strong supports right now. Okay, you got a Kiriko, you got Lucio, you got Mercy, and then the supports that maybe aren't very strong but are still very good, like Xinyan and Ana. I think Ana is actually strong, but let's just kind of categorize. And you have heroes with a lot of mobility, and you have heroes with a lot of range. Brig is really neither. Brig does have some range with her armor packs and some mobility with a new shield bash, but she's not particularly strong enough in either, nor is she like... So the way to buff Brig would be either to make her more mobile, to make her better at range, and by range I mean not necessarily doing damage range, but assisting and supporting range, or a little bit of both, right? You know, you don't have to have a hero that has one very strong signature, but at the very least, like an Orisa or a Ramattra, they need to have the combined strength is good enough, right? Oh my goodness gracious, thank you for the gifted subs. Oh, I coached your Moira a little bit. That's right, Neo. I forgot about that on Ilios. Swirly Mom, the Corpu, Misfile Ash, Aliens Wear Sunglasses, Rymol. Thank you so much for the subs, mate. I really appreciate that. Congratulations, guys. Do I have any feedback for the team that didn't pay you after your video? The O1 Esports thing? No, I'm no update. I have a feeling that O1 Esports has completely abandoned Overwatch entirely. I think they made their cash after the recent Saudi tournament, and I don't think they'll be back in Contenders or O1. I think they're just gonna be gone. They're just thieves, scum of the earth. So it is what it is. I mean, I'm not super concerned about it. I figured that was going to be the case. My main purpose is I was hoping that if I spoke out about it, more players would do it with other orgs in the future, and or other orgs would be spooked because they know that at least somebody's on the player side. Guys, it was $90. Like, I could use $90, but it's $90. It's not $1,000, right? But I know there are players who have been missing thousands of dollars from O1 Esports, and that is just wrong. That is evil. And I feel really poorly for those players. And I know there was a few players that were in tough financial straits that really could have used that money. And that really ticks me off. And if nobody was going to say anything because they were too scared or was too awkward, don't want to get blacklisted, then I'm going to take one for the team. And if you guys ever hear about that stuff happening with anybody else, please reach out to me. I will be the loudmouth that raises a big stink because I'm sick of this stuff. We're screwing over people that don't know how to handle these situations. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's not about my money. I spoke up, but there was a lot of people that were messaging behind the scenes that were thanking me that, like, oh my gosh, they've been stolen so much money from me. Thank you for actually saying something. You know, it's ridiculous. Okay. Levi, can you put that question in Ask Spilo so I don't forget, because I'm trying to do this chronologically. So !Discord and just put it in here and I'll get to it in a second. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I just wanted, like, just other people that just haven't, like, stuff happens all the time, man. I'm so tired. Okay, anyway, lack of range, lack of mobility. Overall design, I'm not really sure. I think like the overall design is the lack of range, lack of mobility, but I don't know Brig is there's a lot of heroes in Overwatch that I can objectively point my finger and be like, that doesn't age particularly well, but I don't really know exactly what. Now, I will say Brig isn't like fundamentally, in my opinion, flawed like a Junkrat, for example, where a spam hero is just not something that's good in design-wise, right? I don't like that design very much. I think Brig, especially right now, has an like anti-dive, a little bit of mobility. I think it's an okay enough design. It's not this typical four-head brawl hero that it used to be, but I don't have any really big brain suggestions, to be honest with you. Okay, what would you replace BAP Regen Burst with? Great question. I don't know. It could be like if Ramatra's not going to get his damage reduction ability, maybe BAP gets that as well, where it's like a small HOT, but it reduces incoming damage by like 20%. That would be a really interesting brawl or defensive cooldown. A lot of these things could be really, really broken if actually used properly, so I'm not really sure. But some sort of like defensive utility or offensive utility. Maybe BAP Shift could be, it increases his heal fire rate and his damage fire rate by 50% for 5 seconds. So it allows you to heal and damage more with like a 33% uptime. So you have to be selective about when you need it for defensive purposes. You kind of see what I'm saying? So like maybe you pop your BAP Shift and for 5 seconds you can heal a lot faster and shoot a lot faster. So you can use it offensively or you can use it defensively. And that would give him a lot more flexibility. I think that would be something that would be fun to use and definitely require a lot of thought into putting into use properly. But something along those lines where there has to be a little bit of utility. Okay, where would you prefer Ryan to fall in the meta rankings when we talk about your idea of it? I think Ryan should be stronger. Like everyone talks about, like everyone wants the perfect balance where I think it's reasonable to say that we would like to have balance to where the heroes are really good on the maps that make sense. Ryan is good on a control center. I want to play in a world where Ryan is picked on control center most of the time because there's no high ground on that map and it's a relatively narrow map. So the best short range brawl hero should be the best tank on that map, and he's not. So I think that would be the optimal balance. Are we going to always get there? No, but that should be where Ryan should be the best tank, period? No. But I think a meta where Ryan is good on short, low range, non-high ground maps, maybe even like a King's Row first and second point, Ryan being good on that map is probably the meta that we want to. That's what we want to aim for. I think there's a chance he'll be viable. I think the problem with Reinhardt is it's a bit of like Briggs' problem, where the hero is weak, but also people are stupid. I don't think people have adjusted. Like okay, that's rude. People have not adjusted well to the new playstyles of the hero. Like people were complaining about Reinhardt in Overwatch 1 as well, and Cloudy was just busy farming people in 4.6k lobbies. You know what I'm saying? Because people still played Reinhardt like a shield bot, standing on main, swinging on the enemy tank. They were not clearing high ground. They were not clearing off angles. They were not doing any of the things that other tanks have to do. They were just forehead turning off range, swinging on the enemy tank. And that playstyle is shockingly exactly what you need to do in Overwatch 2. I talked about it over and over again. People thought I was crazy, and yet that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing in Overwatch 1, and it's exactly what you're supposed to be doing in Overwatch 2, and people just still aren't doing it. So people are going to struggle with Ryan because you don't play Ryan like you did in early Overwatch 1. And here's the hot take, guys. It's not a hot take. Actually, it's just the truth. You were never supposed to play Reinhardt that way, but you got away with it because this hero was strong enough. Reinhardt has always been the best hero at clearing up heroes in close range sightlines. So if you want to play Ryan to dive or Ryan to sniper comps, you cannot just sit there. You have to go clear. You have to go aggressively clear space. And most people have just never learned how to do that. Brig was an excellent brawl hero on release, but she still was very, very good at anti-dive. She still had to play her life. A lot of Brigs got to higher ranks by just holding down mouse 1. And then all of a sudden, nobody knows how to play Brig anymore. Guys, how many lobbies have you seen where people play Brig like a frontliner? In Overwatch 1 and in Overwatch 2. I'll be honest with you. How many times do you guys see that where you have a Brig that's playing more aggressively frontline with a tank? Happens all the time. All the time. Low ranks, mid ranks, even high ranks. All the time we have Brigs that play too aggressively. They don't understand that that's just not what the hero is supposed to do. And so there's a reason why you have one tricks that can do well with Brig and that can do well with Ryan, but other people don't, because the one tricks actually understand what the hero is supposed to do now. and nobody else can figure it out. I mean, we still have people that think Shield Bash should be is a CC anymore. Shield Bash is an escape cooldown, guys. It's an escape cooldown that's sometimes used for offensive combos. It's an escape cooldown, guys. It's an escape cooldown, guys. It's an escape cooldown. It's unbelievable. Like, this is why the hero is perceived as weak. The hero is definitely not strong, but Shield Bash is an escape cooldown. What are your top 5 favorite maps? What makes you to like or dislike a map regardless of which hero you're playing? I don't know. Let's see if I don't know what the common theme is with the maps that I dislike. Let's go through them. So this is I do think if we remove 2CP, a lot of the maps are, it's more subjective, so I don't think there's like any like one clear answer. So I will put Circuit as a definite maybe as terms of my least favorite. And why I don't like Circuit is that it's very one-dimensional. Not very many flanks, very oppressively long sightlines. So it's like they didn't have a sniper map with Havana guns, so they really like cranked it to 100, and I don't like that. It's not just that sniper maps, it's the fact that a lot of sniper maps don't allow other counterplay. I think Dorado's okay. I am no Havana, okay. No, I will put Numbani on there, even though it's not technically in the map pool, but because that person didn't say no Numbani, so I'm gonna put it on there. I think Numbani is again the cranked opposite, where it feels impossible to play anything other than highly mobile heroes in that map. First point Numbani is brutal. Third point Numbani is brutal to cap. It's not I don't hate the map. I just do not like it that much. I don't know. I'd have a hard time putting any other maps on these tiers. I think Eichenwald's second is really rough. But none of these do I actually feel when I queue in, besides like Circuit Royale or Numbani. I think I'm going to stop there. I think Hollywood second's tough. Dorado's second's really tough. Eichenwald's second's really tough. But I think even Power ISO has its really rough moments as well. I don't know. I don't hate a lot of maps, to be honest with you guys. I'm mostly okay with a lot of the maps. Rialto second is also tough. Yep. Taking Rialto second, especially into a good Widowmaker, is rough. Okay. Top 5 favorite maps though. I like Lijiang. King's Row is fine. King's Row is always a safe pick. You know, we got no real problems with King's Row. Those are really the two ones that I enjoy the most. But Push. Yeah, push depends. Like, I don't mind Push that much. I don't know if I have a favorite push. I think New Queen Street might be my least. I don't know. I don't really know. I feel like New Queen Street or Coliseum are probably the worst designed of the push maps. But I personally don't dislike them as much. I see the problems with those two push maps in particular, but I don't dislike them as much. I'm trying to be like subjective here, like really give my opinion of fun, not necessarily balanced. Colosseo is definitely hated, and it's deserved though. So I won't. If we said objectively bad maps, then I think you'd have Circuit Royale would definitely be in there. Colosseo would be in there. Probably New Queen Street to an extent. New Mbani would be in there. From an objective stand, Rialto is very unbalanced as well to play, but I don't necessarily hate them. Yeah, Colosseo is, I told you guys, did you guys see my YouTube short in Colosseo? One fix, just remove the glass, and we don't have those 2-minute stalemates. I want to know when to focus the Mercy, when not to focus the Mercy as Winston. Okay, it's as simple as like, can I actually do damage to the Mercy and kill the Mercy? If not, don't put as much attention to her. You can force her GA, but if you can reach the Mercy, do damage to the Mercy. If you cannot reach the Mercy, do not do it. Generally, we don't jump a Mercy because she's going to fly away instantly. It's better to jump who the Mercy might pocket, and if the Mercy flies to help the target, you can then zap the target. When building a hero pool, is Sojourner in the same category as Widowmaker or Ashe? No, I would say no. I think her mobility is something that provides opportunities. So I would say like I like Tracer, Sojourn, Widow better than Tracer, Soldier, Sojourn. Because I don't think Soldier has like that anti-dive mobile strength as much as Sojourn does. And I don't think Sojourn has the hardcore range played on Circuit Royale and destroy the enemy team on Junkertown like Sojourn does. I think it's tough to say, but I guess that's why you're asking. So that's my opinion anyway. I'm going to be hosting tryouts for my Unity team pretty soon, pretty set and starting 5. What's the best format for the tryouts? Should I be asking to play specific or meta comps or just let them play whatever I would say a little bit of both. I would say mostly try and mix it up a little bit, but I wouldn't go crazy with it. Like what I would do is I would say there's a couple of comps that we want you to play, maybe 2 or 3 comps that we want to see you play. Different tanks, different DPS, maybe some dive, maybe some brawl, maybe some spam, okay? And then after that, what I would do is then open the floor and see if you can get them to not play meta. So just try and find out like what are their comfort heroes, what are their best heroes. You know, if you have like somebody who's got like a crazy Zarya, you know what I'm saying, or like maybe that's something you could talk about the trials. Like, hey guys, like we're gonna open up the last 2 maps for whatever you want, but I want you guys to try and lean into like what heroes you guys are like really good at, or like do you have any like pocket picks? Do you have any like special heroes that you want to show off? I think there's a lot of success to do with that, because even on like Owl, right, like look at like a Hottie, right, the guy's cracked at Reinhardt, so if you only put him on Winston or meta heroes, you would miss that and we would lose a lot of games this season, right? So Backbone on Mei, same kind of thing, you know, so definitely you want to try and lean into your strengths. So give some structure with what they play, and then try and give them a little bit of freedom as well. Should I learn callouts for game plus conversational Korean to be a better pickup for an Owl team? I wouldn't necessarily learn callouts. I just practice my skill set as a communicator and as just a raw player. Conversational Korean, no, definitely not. I think conversational Korean would be something that you would do after the fact, when you've already learned, like if you picked up with the Korean team, you know, take a couple weeks to work with somebody, maybe find a tutor or something like that, and you could probably pick it up fast enough. But it's hard to like learn a language when you're not like immersed in the environment. It would almost be better for you to be picked up on an Overwatch League team with Koreans, and then kind of learn the Korean as you're playing with Koreans who can kind of give you feedback, and or you can kind of like be immersed in their culture, whether it's talking with them constantly, than it is to try and learn it ahead of time. I don't think it would be the most efficient use of your time. Get good at the game, communicationally and mechanically, and then save the conversational Korean and maybe the call out specifically for a later time. And you know, you're never gonna get signed to an Owl team because you knew that one spot on Nepal, like what that one building is called. You know what I'm saying? Out of each role, which hero would you say is the worst in each role? Good question. Good question. Overwatch heroes, probably Doomfist. I think Sombra is, from what we know of stats, is probably objectively pretty bad. Doomfist, Sombra, Moira, I think, or Brig. Doofus, Sombra, probably Brig. I think Moira is still doing okay in ranked, but neither Moira or Brig are particularly good in a non-ranked environment. How does Widowmaker playstyle different coordinated versus ranked? I mean, the Infrasight usage is exactly the same. Don't waste it. You know what I'm saying? The communication with the Infrasight is probably a little bit better, but I mean, the way ranked Widowmakers use Infrasight is just objectively bad, even for ranked. The Widowmaker's playstyle differs mostly in terms of communicating the angles that you're holding, and then trying to scout the enemy Widow so that you give your Widowmaker an advantage. It's not a whole lot more than that. It's still trying to win the duel, avoid the dive, trying to protect your Widowmaker in some circumstances, stuff like that. What separates the best Widowmaker players in the world from each other? Raw mechanics, and also just being really, really, really good at duels. Being really smart, like when to peek, when not to peek, different hiding spots, how to mix it up, how to catch the enemy Widow off guard. Like that was something that Ons was always really, really good at. It was like he was really good in Widow duels. Like his mechanics are crazy, but he also almost always had like the peeker's advantage, because his positioning switch up, like he was really unpredictable, which made him really, really hard to beat in a duel, because he really didn't know where he was a lot of the time. As a person who sees the value in personal development, what advice do you have for making and achieving goals to improve general wellness and life cycle? Sorry if this is... I would say like the new thing I've been on, not the new thing, but the thing I think I really recommend is being like the whole atomic habit idea, where it's like you don't put like unrealistic expectations on yourself. Instead, you're like, what are like some small adjustments that I know I can stick with in my personal development, with the way I like my sleep, my exercise, my health, whatever, and then stick with those, and then build those until they're habits, and then build from there. Like small habits implemented and executed every 3-4 months over the course of a couple of years, it's going to have a big impact. And I think when people try and improve their quality of life, they tend to take a too big of a bite and set unrealistic expectations too quickly. Then they don't stick with them, and then they just rinse and repeat, trying to achieve the unachievable over and over and over again. I think small, sustainable, stickable practices are the best way to do things in Overwatch and in real life. What's the best workshop for warming up as Tracer? Tryhard. There's just no, I don't know the best warm up for Tracer. I don't like Vaxa for Tracer because you have infinite blinks, and I think that's a bad habit to get into. So I think probably Tryhard FFA in terms of workshop. I'm not too sure. Have you ever considered piercing your ears? You look fly. I have not. Thank you though. Best hero ability ult name. Best hero name, ability name, ult name. Wow, this is going to be hard. I'll try and do this one as quickly as I can because it would take forever. Best hero name. I really like the name Baptiste. I really think it flows off the tongue. Brigitte is pretty decent, but obviously Bash and Ash. Ana is fun too. I like the name Ana. I like the fact that it's pronounced Ana as well. Ramatra flows nicely. Zenyatta flows lightly. Reinhardt is obviously a classic. Sojourn is actually a pretty cool name as well. I kind of like Sojourn, Baptiste, Ana, maybe? The rat. Best ability name. Sleep Dart, Bionade, Dynamite, Coach Gun, Regenerative Burst, Whip Shot, Shield Bash, Magnetic Grenade, Combat Roll, Boosters, Micro Missiles, Defense Matrix. Defense Matrix is a pretty cool name. If you think about it, Defense Matrix, it's kind of cool. You're like, wait a second. Oh, it's kind of cool. Focusing. Probably something like this. Like Carnage is just really cool, right? Yeah. I literally just, as I'm saying that, yeah, Carnage. Yeah. Biotic Orb is pretty cool as well. I don't remember what Ramatra's abilities first. Nemesis form is pretty cool. Wraith form is neat. Accretion is actually really cool too. Accretion, maybe Carnage, Accretion. Orb of Discord is also really cool, I think. Probably one of those. And then in terms of ultimate, Nano Boost, nah. Bob, no. Window, I don't remember all of these, to be honest with you guys. High Noon is neat. It's kind of funny. It's kind of a meme, but it's funny. Dragon Blade is awesome. Rampage is cool. Coalescence is pretty cool too. How's Bob not cool? Pile Driver, yeah, Pile Driver is cool. Death Blossom. Honestly, Death Blossom is pretty bad, man. Death Blossom. Earth Shatter, Death Blossom, Rampage, Gravitic Flux. I mean, we got some really nice ultimates here. Transcendence. I don't know, mate. There's some good ones. There's some really good ones. That was a fun question. You've been talking a lot about dynamic hero pools. Do you have any recommendations for a DPS hit scanish hero pool in this meta? Especially considering that I have been a Tracer Soldier Trooper for most of my DPS career in Overwatch 1. So anything with tracking intermission. I agree with IOStux. I think I mean, if you're really talking about hero pools right now, if you are 4.2, Okay, as a Masters 1 player, I think... Yeah, I think especially if you're looking to crack into GM, I think giving yourself, like, playing the meta a little bit would be good. So your Tracer Soldier 2 trick, okay, that's fine. But Soldier's effectiveness really drops off pretty hard. So I would probably, if we're talking about dynamic hero pools, Sojourn Tracer is good. Yeah, Primal Rage is good too. Yeah, Sojourn Tracer is really good. Maybe Ash Tracer. So anything with tracking in or anything that uses some skill set would be cool. I mean, yeah, it's not exactly fully tracking, but Sojourn does have a little bit of tracking involved. And obviously, like, tracking and flicking are definitely different aim styles, but aim will carry over. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you never ever flick with those heroes. So, I would say I would agree with ISX. I don't think it's a major concern, but it depends on, like, what your goals are. If your goal is to hit GM, you probably don't need to adjust your hero pool. If your goal is to, like, stay and do well in GM, then yeah, you might need to consider it a little bit. ML7 talking about good German players. Is that ML talking about good German players who are going to qualify for German for World Cup? But who he's talking about, I can just find Hottie in Wikipedia. Good German players. You have Refid. Refid's a good main support for Germany. I don't know if Shade plays anymore, but that's another pretty decent tank. Shoot, let me look it up right now. I bet I can find it on Wikipedia. I'm not super in the loop with German and European and all the different nationalities, but I think there's a way to do it here, right? Yeah, so just Hottie and Overwatch League. And then Germany, choose Cookie. Fi is good. Fi is a good hit scan player. Probably more flex DPS now. Sucrax is a flex support player, if I remember correctly. Man, is that really it? Maybe we can go back a little bit. Overwatch contenders. Yeah, let's cheat. Let's do this. Season 2021. Let's see if we can find any. Whoops. Let's try this. I always find I have a hard time navigating. Like, I don't know how to navigate Wikipedia, mate. I really just don't know. It's such a pain sometimes. Trying to. Oh, there you go. Maybe this will do it. 2022 season. Like, how do I select these seasons though? Maybe this is it. 2022 Winter Series Europe A-Sides qualifier. Maybe we can find something here. Nope. I'm not sure, honestly. Oh, Khan. Yeah, of course, Khan. Yeah, Khan, Sucrax, Refid, Hottie, Fi. It's a decent team. It's a decent team. I think Fi, Khan, and Hottie, and I think Refid's starting to play more as well. Can I search up Germany? Maybe I can. That would be sick if it does this. See, I don't want. $16, no. Moose. I don't know if Engineer plays anymore. Hey, look, there's Khan and Refid. Click the flag and you can go to German players. In the thing? Yeah, there you go. Okay. Wait, Alex is German? Yeah, okay, so never mind. Alex is really good. I somehow forgot that Alex is German. Yeah, so Alex and Hottie is a great tank line. Amir, I forget Amir is German. Baroy, it's a solid staff line. Hottie, Khan, Moose. Naru is not bad either. I don't know if Naru has played recently, but Naru used to be pretty decent. Fi, Thor, Trust Me is a DPS player, right? It's a band. I don't know who half these people are, honestly. I know the name though, I think. Refid. Yeah, so I think like depending on, I think it's mostly just the second DPS, which I'm not really sure on, but tank line, support line is mostly pretty solid here. So tank line is stacked. Hottie and Alex is like really, really good. It's about as good of a tank line as you're gonna get in Overwatch, outside of like the top 2 or 3. Cookie? Oh yeah, Cookie. That's a newer player I'm not as familiar with, but yeah, Cookie's good too. So there you go. Cookie, Fi, Hottie, Alex, Refid, Khan. That's a potential for top 5. Right there. I mean, probably should be top 5. Alex is good. He's good on a lot of off-tank heroes. I coached him back in Shirkle. What do you think of the order of new players should learn Overwatch 2? Say Blizzard was playing an in-depth hero. I think playing like as a team and controlling like space, playing as a team and cover would be good ones to start with. And then thinking about how your cooldowns can help with that, and ebb and flow and ultimates can help with that would be helpful. This guy. I feel myself getting nervous and going up against streamers. People know they're good in scrims. Is that purely bad, or could somebody turn to advantage? Just look for it as an opportunity. You'll get over it. Eventually, it'll be like, oh, another streamer game, not that big of a deal. And eventually, it'll be like, oh, another streamer game, crap. Another one of these guys that's going to troll my lobby because I'm better than they are. Like, I remember my first streamer game. It was nerve-wracking, but you just get used to it. It just happens again and again and again. Don't worry about it. Just play the game. There's no hack. Just play the game. You'll get used to it. I promise you. It can be turned into an advantage. No, not really. Just play the game. Don't try and mind game it. It's not like, the thing is like I would have some advice for you if streamer games were like a one-time and done thing, like a big championship game, but it's not a championship game. Just play. You're gonna have so many streamer games. When building a 3D APS hero pool, you mentioned adding a hero with mobility plus medium and a long range hero. Picking long range hero is obviously the map to pick, but when do you pick the mobile DPS? So a lot of the mobile DPS, it depends on the type of mobility necessary. So like if I'm playing a Genji, for example, I might like to play Genji on a map where there's a lot of vertical mobility, right? So a map like Paraiso, right? I just like saying that word. Right? So a lot of vertical mobility, even like a King's Row, first, second, and to an extent third, a lot of vertical mobility. So Genji's very strong. But you notice that that map is not very wide, right? It's not very wide. Neither Paraiso or King's Row are very wide. So that might mean that those maps are a little bit worse for a hero like Tracer. Tracer would be better with a map that's very wide, that offers a lot of flanks. Often maps that are good with snipers are often good with Tracer, because wideness usually means long sightlines as well. Now, Tracer doesn't like long sightlines, so that's one bad thing. But a Busan, for example, has a lot of space that a very fast and solo-dependent hero can do a lot of work on, whereas a Genji would struggle more with that. So it's a type of mobility, whether it's horizontal or vertical, depends on the map. What do you think when Zen gets butt picked so much in Asia? It's just preferences. Like meta always revolves around hero strengths, but meta also always revolves around preferences. Asia metas are all like Asia ranked is usually more team oriented. There's more communication. It's like the culture they live in, where Western culture is a little bit more selfish and self-centered. For better and worse, there's downsides and upsides to that. And also Asia is obsessed with Winston and has been obsessed with dive as a whole. So Asia in general picks more high skill heroes, whereas Western has always been more of the brawlier, not easier heroes, but less mobile heroes. So Asia has an obsession with Zenyatta, with Ana. You're going to find your high-end Tracer players, your high-end Winston players, things like that. They really like dive in Asia. Yeah. So is Zenyatta a perfect dive hero? No. But also you're not going to get away with playing just Orisa Hog, brain dead, turn that off there. Iron Balls, if you want to be an effective flanker DPS player, then I think learning a little bit of Tracer and Genji can be helpful. Yes. I don't think it's a must-have, because we haven't had Genji as a must-pick very often ever. But having a Tracer in the pocket is definitely a good one. And Tracer's not bad on more narrow maps. Tracer's still a pretty strong hero. She's just a little bit stronger in those situations. My take pool is Sig, Ram, Ryan, Orisa. Who, if any, should I drop? I don't know. Which ones do you not enjoy as much? Those all, like these heroes all fill similar niches of being shorter range heroes. And then this hero and this hero and even this hero all have decent range. So like you're picking like Brawl. You don't have any mobility. Also, I would pick up Diva Winston, but I don't like either. Well, then don't pick them up. Currently Plat 3 in tank. I promise you, the reason you're Plat 3 in tank is not your hero pool. If anything, it's the number of heroes that you're playing, not the fact that you're not playing Diva or Winston. So I know that's probably not what you want to hear. Well, actually, you know what? It should be what you want to hear because it's an easy solution. You don't have to play the heroes that you don't want to play. You want to get to Diamond Low Masters on tank? You can get to Diamond Low Masters on tank very easily playing this hero pool. You might need to learn a couple of different playstyles, but to do that, you're not going to be able to learn those playstyles playing 4 different heroes. So I'd narrow this to 2 or 3 depending on how many hours you play every day. Oh, yeah, true. I'm always like, hey guys, can you see? You just like see like this brown bush. Here we have the streamer in his natural habitat. If you look carefully, you see the bird. Yeah. Hi guys. Do you think a projectile hero? Do you think that projectile heroes are always worse than hit scan? Not necessarily. I just think that what we have. Unfortunately, is we have like if you think about hit scan has range. Hit scan has mobility. The best mobile hero in the game is Tracer, who's hit scan. The best ranged hero in the game is Sojourn, who's hit scan for the most part, or Ashe, or Widow, you know, or even the heroes like Cass, who aren't good but they're not trash tier. Like, whereas projectile, Genji was strong, got nerfed really hard. Best Hanzo has not been meta in a long time. So is there something to be said between projectile and hit scan fundamental imbalance? Maybe, but I also just think that it just so happens that the best hit scan heroes in the game, or the best heroes in the game just happen to be hit scan. I don't think that hit scan is objectively strong. I mean, look at a hero like Soldier and Cassie. They're not exactly dominant, you know. Their hit scan isn't doing them favors. It just so happens that Widowmaker is still strong, Sojourn is still strong, Ashe is still strong, Tracer is still strong. Yeah. And if you look at the number of projectile heroes that aren't very good, yeah. I think one thing to be said is that a lot of the projectile heroes are spam heroes with simpler kits that have not aged as well. Like if you look back at Overwatch 1's release, look at the number of projectile heroes. Most of the DPS cast, if I remember correctly, were projectile heroes. There's a majority. And a lot of those heroes have not aged as well, as the spam archetype is just outdated, and it really is not aged well. So, but that doesn't excuse heroes like Genji and Hanzo, who I think have aged kind of like Hanzo, I don't know, but Genji's aged well. He just got nerfed really hard. And Echo too. Echo is still pretty strong, right? She's a new hero. Okay. In terms of personal growth, should I eat a D rank to get a Master's level in, or play meta to break? I mean, depends on what you want. Do you really want to hit low Masters? Has that been your goal for years? But I would say this is almost always going to be the play, especially if you're playing for the long term and playing for what's fun. When building a DPS hero pool, is Sojourn the same range category as Widow Ashe? No. This was a good question, but no. I think Sojourn can come close to that range category, but no. And keep in mind, when we're talking about building a hero pool here, you don't have to have short range, long range, mobile. That's an okay guideline, but what's more important than filling all those categories is finding heroes that you enjoy playing. And oftentimes, I actually only recommend people to only have 2 heroes in the hero pool, which obviously you can't do short range, long range, mobile with only 2 heroes, usually. So, I mean, but for this specific question, the answer is no. The answer is no. We'll give Big Hoss Real a second to type up his question, and we'll probably call it. Also, for those of you who've been following my Sekiro playthrough, I've been quietly struggling through Sekiro when I find the time, and it has been enjoyable. I beat Owl Father this morning, so we're getting there. He's one of the hardest bosses yet. Took me a little while, but I got him. Deserted Island. You could bring 1 person and 5 things. Who and what? My wife. And I'm not just saying that to be corny. She's legit my best friend. Has been for a long time. She's 5 things. Okay. Oh man, you're killing me with this question. Where do we follow the Sekiro playthrough? I don't stream it. I would be a boring Sekiro streamer. I don't rage at all. Like, I haven't raged a single time. I got mad one time when the stupid troll thing pixel skipped on me. Besides that was it. Didn't make best friends tries. Yeah, I get ruled peasant. Sorry, I'm a simp for women. Crap, man. if you'd get hit with mail back. I'd ask you for advice, Farashi. That's what I would do. I don't know. 5 things here. I don't know. Probably a book series of some sort, like a long book series that would have a rereadable category. I'd bring my wife, probably a Bible, probably some sort of like a pull-up bar or a barbell, something like that with weights on it. I can't think of anything else though. Guitar but what if the strings broke? You know what I'm saying? I'm assuming that we're like not freaking out. Like a guitar would be fun. Like that provides a lot of entertainment. I have a full head of hair. Didn't you see the video? No, but I'm choosing to ignore it to make a point. Yeah, I don't know. That's a really good question. I don't know. Why are the questions happening faster? The hardest role. Don't really know, actually. I would say hardest deep. It's more about the hardest hero within the role, I think. But I don't know. I would have to like go back and like, because the problem is like once you get to a certain rank, like the hardest role doesn't really matter. I think it would be a good question about what is the hardest role to pick up as a brand new hero, a brand new player, and I think that there's a pretty good argument for that. But I don't know. I don't even know what that would be, to be honest. Am I gonna play Elden Ring after Sekiro? I mean, it's easier than Sekiro. So here's the funny thing. You mentioned Elden Ring. Toupee. Oh my gosh, you're insufferable, Varashi. Coincidentally, my brother-in-law for my Christmas bought me both games. So it's kind of strange that you brought up Elden Ring. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense, but yeah, I've not played Elden Ring, so maybe we'll play Elden Ring. I don't know. Yeah, that's true, Varashi. Maybe DPS is the best one to play if you have a background in other games. And I guess it just depends, you know? Okay. You guys are killing me with this one. All right, chat. Loves and smooches. I'm going to end stream right there. It's been fun. I think we have a collaboration next Saturday with Boger. We have a collaboration with an aim and movement coach the Tuesday after that. I'm going to still be working through all my forms, so hopefully we'll have an update on the coaching drawing in about a week from now, maybe sooner. And hopefully have some new updated juicy stuff implemented sooner than that. But yes, loves and kisses. Thank you guys for chiming in. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, Spilo out.